Oh, hello there. I was doing a bit where I pretend to read and I didn't hear you come in. I'm Matt, the host and dungeon master of Tabletop Legends, a show where myself and a group of my friends adventure through a world full of mystery, intrigue, and magic as we play 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. We stream live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Proficiency Bonus Twitch channel. If you have time, we'd love for you to join us live. Back episodes and future episodes will be available right here on the Tabletop Legends YouTube channel, with the previous week's episode going up every Monday before the live stream on Twitch on Tuesday evenings. Please, enjoy. Hello! Welcome to Tabletop Legends. Thank you for joining us. I am Matt. I am your host and Dungeon Master, and we're going to play our third session of Tabletop Legends tonight. So I want to thank everybody joining us at home as we're very excited. Tonight we break our previous record for most episodes of Tabletop Legends, which was 2. So the new record has been set at 3 episodes of Tabletop Legends. We have grown by a third! 2 episodes in, this joke is already real old. I think
it was old when you started it.
Hey! He's a disembodied voice on stream right now because it's just my face.
Careful with that joke, it's an antique.
Okay, so before we get started, let's take care of some housekeeping business. I want to thank our sponsors, Streamlabs, the Twitch affiliate program, Many-Sided Dice, and Team MZ, who are sponsors, allow proficiency bonus to be associated with them. So thank you to those guys, and I want to thank Tabletop Legends, presenting sponsor, Marble Moon Studios, and the 8th House. You can find them at marblemoonstudio.com or shopthe8thhouse.com. They are an independently and ethically sourced witchy lifestyle and home goods shop. You can buy all sorts of cool, I was going to say edgy, but that's not the right word.
Witchy.
Witchy, witchy. Hip, quirky, fun stuff, including Tabletop Legends mugs, which we'll get a confirmation from chat. I don't know if producer Michael is watching, but turns out we have another mug that we can give away. So if we can get the giveaway working, we'll give another mug away tonight. Because why not, right?
Hail mug.
Hail mug.
Do it for the mug.
Do it for the mug. So please consider giving Proficiency Bonus a follow, a subscribe if you have not already done so. You can also look up Tabletop Legends on various social media platforms. We have a Facebook, we have a Twitter. As of last week, we said we were going to, and we did. We now have an Instagram. So you can find all of those at just search Tabletop Legends or Tabletop Legends D&D on those. You'll find us. It's got a picture of all our my dumb face and everybody else's characters. Look us up on YouTube as well. As I said last week, we are going to start uploading our backlog of episodes to our YouTube channel, so you can go ahead and subscribe there. We are Tabletop Legends on YouTube, so that should be excellent. And
smash that like button.
Smash that like button. Keep your eyes peeled as well, or your ears, or your whatever orifice you want to peel.
Your hair orifice.
We're going to be starting. Ooh, it would be good if.
Is the mic done on?
This was on surround sound. Everything up to now has probably sounded very stupid, and hopefully that fixed it.
It's probably, you guys sound stupid no matter how well the mic is.
Hilarious. We also want to thank the Zephyr Foundation, who we are partnering with for the month of April to raise charitable donations for Autism Awareness Month. As of our first couple of streams, we have raised a good deal of money that we will be donating at the end of the month. I believe Marble Moon Studio has also said that any of the proceeds from the mugs, 20% of that will be added to our donation as well. They're a really cool local organization that does a lot of outreach and work with people in the area, helping to create a better environment, a better kind of societal living condition for people with developmental disabilities. Without any further ado, I think that covers all of our business. So why don't you, Carlos, go ahead and switch us over to the main feed there. And you will notice, audience, that Carlos is not in his seat. But he will be momentarily. He's in an empty chair right now. But also, that is not Becca. That is not Nula in the middle chair there. That is Emily. Emily is my wife. Emily is filling in for Becca tonight since Becca has a cold. And we don't allow anybody who shows any signs of weakness to play D&D with us.
Mid-season recast.
Hopefully Becca will be back with us last night, but for tonight's session, Emily's going to sit in and she will play with us as well.
Tune in next week when Emily and Becca have to fight to the death to who continues
For
to
the
be on
seat.
show.
For the seat.
So, let us...
Should we open our things?
Oh, yeah!
Oh yeah.
I would have completely whiffed that.
That's all of our names on it.
It's not on. You can't see it on this screen.
So we have gifties from Marble Moon Studios. We don't know what they are yet.
Yeah.
It smells nice.
It smells. Is there smells in here? I
I
didn't
know
know that.
Mine doesn't smell nice.
Mine doesn't smell nice either. He's like, haha, all you just
Well,
smoked
mine
the
smells
bag.
like the shop, which smells nice.
Okay.
Alright, everybody.
It just smells like... Oh, yeah, alright. So, yeah, we're going to open these and see what they are on stream, I guess.
I wonder who.
We should have given you Becca's to open.
Oh look, it's my order detail.
What of those
It's
are
a bill.
special?
Oh look, here's the free mug I just got. And here's the not free mug that I had to buy.
Now you can be a two-fisted drinker.
Yeah. Got a mug for each hand.
So, Tabletop Legends mugs.
Marked off with our character.
Character names, mine says Dungeon Master.
Yeah.
That one. Wait,
That one is not the one.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Okay, hold on.
Wait.
Hold on.
Just rip it.
Christ,
Just rip it,
Sam.
man.
There we go.
There you are.
Hey.
From
Osria's.
So what if I accidentally drop one in the parking lot? We'll make sure it's not the personalized one.
I will right-handed drink this one.
Yes.
Alright, I'm going to put that
A fancy mug.
back here. I'm going to put the other Tabletop Legends mug also back here.
Why definitely coffee. I should probably watch that first.
You should probably watch that, and you should also not pour liquids on my nice gaming table.
So, speaking of whiffs, we whiffed something at the end of our session.
Oh my god, thank you for reminding me.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the
Good
golden
lord.
D20.
So, yeah, on our first session, we gave away that metal D20, and I said, I have a note here yet.
Okay.
I said I would explain at the end of the session why we were giving away a metal D20, and that it would make sense, and then I forgot to do it. And then I told the cast after that session that we'd do it next session, and then I forgot again. So this is now episode 3, but we are finally going to explain
Getting
the
there.
metal D20 that we gave away, and what I do with my own metal D20 that I have here. So this is something that I stole from DM Matthew from the Monday Tomb of Annihilation stream, who he may have stolen from somebody else. I don't know. He was my first experience with this, but I liked it, and I took it, and I do it in my home game, and we're going to do it here. I call it the Golden D20. So basically what we do at the end of every session, and we've been doing it off stream because I keep forgetting, but we will in the future do it live. I hand out little sticky note slips of paper, and the cast all casts a vote, private ballot, of somebody from that session that they think either had a great roleplay moment or did something really cool or had like the best joke of the night or something like that. They turned those all back into me. I wrote like a safety vote in case I need to break a tie, but otherwise it's determined by the table. We may incorporate a chat feature in the future where chat can vote. I don't know. We'll see. But for right now,
probably won't be able to figure out how to do that.
we're doing that.
We could just take a tally.
We'll probably just
We could just take a tally.
We'll ask the audience and see what they say.
Yeah.
It's not like we got too many people watching. So we did do this off stream last time because I remembered afterwards. So tonight's current holder of the Golden D20 is Alar.
Oh.
And the note I have here from last week is Alar won the Golden D20 for Goblin Love and Eternal Glory. So Alar's romantic involvement with
Absolutely.
Goblin courting rituals won him Golden D20.
And as I said, this third strangest thing Alar has ever done.
Off center. So hopefully that fixed it and didn't make it worse. So, Alar has the Golden D20. Thank you for reminding me, because I totally would have forgotten again. We will vote at the end of tonight's session about who gets this week's Golden D20. The way that works, basically at any point during tonight's session, while he holds that, on any roll that he wants, he can decide, I'm using the Golden D20, and it's an automatic natural 20 on whatever it is he's trying to roll for. The general sort of soft rule is that we almost exclusively use it for like ridiculous social interaction roles, but hard and fast rule is it can be used literally for anything that a particular player wants. So it's like super inspiration.
Oh yeah.
So Alar's got that, and unless there's any other business that I'm forgetting, which I don't think there is.
There's one order of business. Jason has green hair. That's true. It's stupid.
It's fine.
Look at him trying to hide it.
It's fine.
It looks fine.
No chroma key. It's fine.
If only we had like a green screen and we could like key so that
my
his,
God,
space,
that
his
would
like
be
hair
great.
turned
No,
into
you,
space.
even without the green screen, you can just do it with the
Oh.
chroma key. What color hair do you want today?
All right. Well, order of business. Jason has green hair. I don't know. There you go. So let us jump into tonight's episode of Tabletop Legends. So to recap from last week, we rejoin the adventurers still on the first day of the party's investigation into the strange goings-on in the town of Stone Mill at the request of the enigmatic Torian Idrian. It is now early evening on Seven Leaf Fall, and the party have spent the better part of the day traveling around the town, gathering information and asking questions of the local population. From Sheriff Throwan Maddock, the party learned that the townspeople are becoming restless and tense, that he and his deputies are ill-equipped to handle it. He offered them some small amount of coin if they could keep an ear to the ground and report anything potentially dangerous brewing among the townspeople directly to him. From Sexton Bartug Deep Mountain, the party learned that the Inquisitor, as well as the mysterious group of other outsiders, were both rather interested in an ancient dwarven mausoleum behind the temple, but that Bartug was refusing to grant anyone entry on the grounds that it would desecrate the resting place of whomever was interred there. They also learned that an odd incident had occurred several nights ago when someone or something had been scratching at the door of the temple at night, but come morning left no evidence besides a small pile of ash. From Amelie Turner, the mother of the missing girl, they learned that a brutish individual, generally matching the description of a dwarf, had literally smashed down the front door of her house and taken her daughter in the night. She had stabbed the intruder in the back with a kitchen knife, but they didn't even seem to notice her, basically knocking her down and carrying the girl off into the woods. One minor mystery was solved when the party discovered that the petty thefts that had been taking place in the market were being perpetrated by a goblin named Guckluck, who was gathering trinkets as a romantic offering for a female back in his home village. Romantics at heart, and not ones to stand in the way of a goblin in true love, the party gifted Guckluck with an iron...
Is that what it is?
with an iron brazier that Alar had purchased in order to summon a familiar, and sent him on his way with his treasures, warning him to stay clear of the town from now on. Now, as the sun begins to set, the party have reconvened one more time to prepare for their next moves in continuing their investigation. Take it away.
So, what'd you guys find out about from the girl's mother?
She wasn't too happy.
I imagine not.
Duh.
To
It's a little
leave.
bit of an understatement.
To leave.
So she didn't agree to leave.
She did not. She did say that she would come look for us at the Blue Harpy Inn if she gets into trouble.
Okay.
The whatever came for her daughter didn't care about getting stabbed. She buried a knife in it and it didn't care very much. And it left. It smelled of decay and rot,
Bad smell.
and left behind some kind of dirt, which may be the same as the dirt that was outside the temple.
She did also describe it as a dwarf, so I guess that gives credence to that rumor about the dwarves, but
Dwarf ghost zombies.
dwarf ghosts.
So, possible dwarf, doesn't care about getting stabbed, leaves dirt all over the place.
Smells bad.
Sounds like my ex-wife.
I didn't know you were married.
I was, hence the X at the front of the word ex-wife.
Taylor's gonna roll Arcana.
We can summon my ex-wife.
Gets a 15. From the description, he's trying to piece together what that could possibly be. Because I know
Not-
what I
Right.
Yeah.
As Alar, not something that he is familiar with, but it does certainly have the you kind of would be led to believe by these context clues that there's some sort of necromancy afoot. But beyond that is sort of beyond your knowledge of such things. They're not known to be very common.
I think I might have slightly more background in that.
Probably.
So I would. I mean, I can roll for it, but
it sounds like necromancy of some kind, but I don't have a whole lot of experience with that sort of magic.
Yeah, go ahead and make a. You can make an Arcana roll as well.
Arcana it is. Nope, 1.
No, I mean, similarly, like it's certainly you're getting the impression of something undead is happening here, but you don't really recall anything that would give you sort of a clue as to like the behavior you're seeing displayed. Like something takes a little girl, something else is trying to get into a temple. People seem to be like it's like almost like random people seem to be attacked. You're not sure what motivation
At the very
behind
least, I
this.
think we should go talk to Mr. Deep Mountain because we have at least one credible witness saying there was a dwarf.
Or something that was
or
a
something
dwarf.
that may have been a dwarf. If it is undead, then there's a small chance that the graves or the mausoleum's been defiled already. So
I think we probably want a little more to go on than
the drunk ramblings of a barkeep and a terrified young woman.
yeah. I don't think we want to get on his bad side. He's the only one who can get us in there.
It's true, kind of kicking down the door and saying, "Hey, there's definitely dwarves messing everything up." It's not gonna like that either.
I mean, I know we were trying to get familiars together to see if they could go sneak a peek at whatever the.
That is correct.
And there's
Look at
a ferret appears on his shoulder.
So that would be super cool. I also wouldn't mind either hanging out at the temple and seeing if something goes down tonight, or just heading off into the woods and seeing if we can stir up some trouble.
It's close to evening now, so if we're going out into the woods, we will be going out into the woods in the evening.
That is when all of these things tended to happen.
It is indeed.
I would also very much like to run into those relic hunters and
Punch their faces in.
well, we
Rip
can
their arms
introduce them to our friend and let him cut loose a little bit.
Punch their faces and then rip their arms off.
It's,
Beat their faces in with their own ripped off arms. Got it. High five.
Hopefully, after getting whatever information they have out of them.
I mean, reducing competition should help us.
I knew I liked you.
I would. Yeah, I would also recommend that we try and do so discreetly. The last thing we want to do is get on the bad side of the Mythlindian.
Look at me. I can't really be discreet.
Well,
So, Operation Wheel Drop?
Yeah. It's just a minor illusion into something, but I don't know what.
Don't we have to meet somebody back at the Blue Heartbeat?
We do. I believe that we can let the familiars go on their little adventure and tell us what they see later.
Alright.
So we can have Morgan
Can also
have pick up the weasel.
Yep.
What was his name?
Scooter.
Scooter.
All right.
All right.
He's
Morgan
not.
and Scooter are gonna fly off into the distance.
Don't worry. She's not gonna eat you.
Good.
So what are you instructing your familiars to do? What is their mission
So
here?
Morgan's mission is to fly over where she sees guarded tents, and then drop the weasel onto the tent.
Okay.
I believe it should not injure that much, hopefully. But she can swoop down and pretend to eat them, and then just kind of drop the corpse.
Swoop fairly low and just drop it near one of the tents. It could simply be that it tried to pick up the weasel for a meal. The weasel bit the owl and got away. And the weasel will just amble about and sniff what he can sniff.
Alright. And she'll keep circling ahead.
Okay.
And whenever the weasel's ready to get out, we can get out of here.
Okay. So what is your weasel specifically? What is his instructions to do? Once he goes-
His instructions are once dropped on the ground to amble around the camp, sniff around all of the tents for anything particularly unusual, since they have a very strong sense of smell, and then leave the camp and head back toward the Blue Harpy.
Who did get picked up by Morgan? Fly a little faster.
Yeah, once leaving the Mythlindian can get picked up again.
Question: how far are we from the Blue Harpy right now?
I'm gonna hold. You're on like the far side of town from it, but it's not more than a 15-minute walk across town
Yeah,
back
that's
to the
true.
Blue
We can just
Harpy.
let Nula handle our meeting.
We
Were
could,
they looking
but
for
they are
me?
looking for Oz. I mean, I suppose she could pip up and say that's part of her party.
Uh,
I feel like if they show up and they don't see the Goliath, they're just gonna leave.
yeah.
Did they ever see the Goliath?
To be fair, I only said to ask for Oz. I didn't specify who or what Oz was.
Paladins are not known for lying, so.
She doesn't have to lie. It's not a lie, because she's not going to identify herself as Oz. She's going to identify herself as part of Oz's party.
I don't think that's gonna work.
She's a paladin. She's trustworthy.
She can tell.
She's a
She
trustworthy
can tell
one.
this person exactly what Walter looks like and what you look like.
That is true.
Well, I don't think it's super hard to.
I don't think I gave him a password. Next time I hire informants, I'll be a little more thorough.
We'll figure this out.
It's probably fine.
Well, this conversation has made me want to die. So, what are we doing?
I mean, if we all want to go back, that's fine. Or we can be 30 minutes closer to arm ripping and face beating.
I'm recommending and face beating.
I mean, our familiars can find us even if we just don't summon them.
Yeah, so that is true.
So if we get into a pinch, they can.
Weasel their way in.
You've been waiting for that, haven't you?
I just thought of it now, which might actually be sadder.
You're right, it is.
Yeah. I mean, the familiars are doing their thing. They'll get us some information about the camp while there's still daylight, and
Alright, then off we go into the woods, I suppose.
kick down the tree door into the woods.
Alright, so you guys are heading, east out of town?
Yes.
Alright, so you get about 25 feet down the road when the guards that are standing there turn, and again you get a stop. You match the description of the folks that the Inquisitor said were allowed into the town under special circumstances. We have been informed that you are not to leave the premises of Stone Mill proper.
How many are there?
4.
Sorry, we didn't realize that we were reaching the border. Our mistake.
Have a good night.
Good night, gentlemen. And
Sorry.
lady.
What's your name?
The one who's speaking to you?
Yeah.
Michael is my name.
Uh,
What can I do for you?
All
No,
right,
I mean normal.
Who's a human? Humans have normal names.
all right.
So, Michael, we were brought on to try to help figure out what's going on here, and we've heard that there's a lot going out off in the woods over there. I understand that you've been told that we aren't able to pass. Who told you that we shouldn't be able to pass?
The director from the Inquisitor.
All right, we will see if we can get in touch with her. Sounds good. Thank you.
The guards kind of exchange sort of like a sidelong glance with each other as you guys sort of turn back, and head away.
Right then.
So
It's worth
like
a shot.
50 feet that way up the woods line and then into the woods.
A little bit further.
100 feet it is.
Yes. Once we
You
get
can
out of
also
there.
wait for it to get darker.
Yeah. So it'll also give our familiars a chance to do a bit of investigation and get back to us quicker.
Yeah.
Then Blue Harpy.
Yeah. Let's keep our meeting.
Wow, I'm glad we spent all that time deliberating just to not have a choice anyway. Awesome. Great.
How are we to know that there would be guards
Really?
doing their jobs?
I mean, it's a small town. You would think the guards would be a lot more lazy than this.
I get the
These aren't the
impression-
normal town guards. This is like the
I
Inquisitors.
get the impression from them
Task
straight
force.
from the get-go that they were not normal.
I would
I-
second that.
I didn't know that they weren't going to let us out into the woods.
These people can't make up their minds. First, they don't want to let us in. Then they say we can come in. Then they don't want to let us out.
Didn't they say for us to wait until the shift changed so that we would be able to go in that direction at all? I'm very confused. I'm getting lots of mixed signals.
So from your first conversation, the Inquisitor agreed to let you guys into the town. You get the impression mostly because you were like bothering her.
Yes.
She did tell you specifically like you could go in the town and like go about whatever your various business. But warned you like once you entered, you were not going to be allowed to leave, as you would be under lockdown with everybody else. And she did specifically tell you like the guards, that in addition to the ones who are like standing watch at the road here, you do know not from her but from Abner, the main guard you were talking to. He did tell you that they have like patrols kind of a little bit out in that area, and that the reason he told you to like wait for shift change was that if the patrols like spotted you out in the woods, you were likely to be like attacked or like arrested on sight. So not necessarily like, oh, once we tell him you can you'll be able to go do whatever you want. They really have not let you be part of the investigation. She was mostly like, fine, go into town and get out of our way. but you're not leaving afterwards. So that's sort of where you stand with the guards.
Well, we did get deputized.
You got
We did not
got
tell them
asked
that.
by the sheriff to help out,
Yeah.
and then you went and requisitioned fake
He
badges.
said deputies. He said I officially deputized you, and then I said, "Do we get badges?" And he said no. So I'm having my own.
Did he say no, or did he say you didn't have any?
He said he didn't have any.
That's an important distinction.
That's right. It wasn't a no. It was a
Decision.
I don't have any to give you, but if I did, I give you.
We don't know whether he would or not.
I'm not sure he would
Who's
have
to
given
say?
us badges.
But who's to say?
Who's to say? Me. And I
In
said,
Brahms'
yeah.
head, that's how it went.
Right. Well, then let's
So-
head back to the Blue Harpy.
We should get some information about the movements of the other group from the informant we paid.
Also, a better description of them. And we might be able to find out if they are breaking curfew themselves.
And if they're home, we can pay them a visit.
And if they're not home, we can pay their rooms a visit.
I like that one. Yoink all things.
All right. So what is the current plan here?
Blue Harpy and wait for the informant.
Okay. All right. So you guys head off back to the Blue Harpy. Takes you, a few minutes. As the sun is setting, you distinctly notice that the streets are empty. As you pass back around like where the market is, the market's totally shut down. All of the stalls have been packed up. Even though the sun is still, maybe an hour from setting, everybody has like totally cleared out of the streets. It's like an old western, like all the doors and shutters are slammed. Everybody's in. The tumbleweed goes by. You get the impression that the people of Stone Mill are not taking a chance being out of their homes past sundown with the current goings on. So you kind of spend the last few minutes of the walk just in the deserted streets of the town before coming across to the large and quite well lit Blue Harpy. There are, a lot of lanterns set on the outside. The stables have been shut up for the night. You can hear sort of the rabble from within as all of the current patrons of the Blue Harpy are have nowhere else to go, as most of them are out of towners. They're just there. So as you walk in, you see the tap room is quite full. It had been pretty full when you guys had visited earlier. It's even fuller now, as it seems like anybody who was out and about doing any type of business during the day has returned there. So there's several dozen people kind of jammed into this room. Most of the tables are filled. The bar is lined with people. And you, I guess, grab a corner and just wait.
Yep.
All right.
Have the large people in the back, then the smallers in the front, I guess.
So about 20 minutes pass, and you can kind of see out of the windows of the inn that the sky is beginning to get kind of pinkish orange with the sunset as it gets later and later, and the front door's open and an individual walks in who is pretty plain looking, maybe mid-30s, very slender in his build, just wearing a simple tunic and trousers and boots that are well worn with years of what you take to be like field work of some sort of physical work, outdoors type work. He's very very kind of tanned, especially the back of his neck is leathery from years of sun beating down on it. He has kind of watery, pale blue eyes, and his hair is cut very short and mostly bald, just a few wisps of sort of still quite dark brown, but very thin up top brown hair. And he sort of you see him look around and just scan the room interestedly, and he goes over to the bar, over to where Ollie, the bartender, is in the process of serving some people. And he waits a few moments to get Ollie's attention, and then you see him sort of lean in and ask a question, and immediately Ollie's eyes like swivel across the bar towards Osrius, and he just points one finger right at your guys' group. So the individual kind of like follows his finger, quickly moves over to you guys, and he kind of approaches carefully as he gets close to like a dragonborn and a Goliath. Now he perhaps was not quite expecting you guys when he was told to come seek out Oz.
Hey, Laura's gonna pull out here for him. Come in. Come, sit down.
He sort of tentatively takes his seat. I was told at the Mill Street that there were some folks who wanted to talk to me. Left a little bit of coin, so I came, but I shouldn't stay long. I want to be back home before the sun goes down.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're not gonna keep you long.
You must be Jennings, right?
Yes, sir. Jim Jennings.
Jennings.
What can I do for you?
Don't be startled by my friends here. I assure you they are as dangerous as they look. So,
right? Yes.
what we need is, forgive me for being forward, but we need some information about the three in your bar. I believe you know the ones I'm speaking of?
The out-of-towners.
Yes.
What do you want to know? I'm afraid I don't know all that much about them. Just a few interactions, I suppose.
Do you know if they're in at the moment?
I think they came in earlier, but I'm not sure if they're there now anymore.
What's their schedule like?
That you've seen, at least.
They're in around sunset most nights. They sort of pester people in the bar with questions, things like that for a while, and then usually head up to their room, and I don't really see them much during the day. I'm not at the inn during the day much.
Do you know if they stay in their rooms?
No. I haven't been staying much past dark myself these last few days.
That's understandable.
It's not safe out there.
Fair.
Are they in some sort of a trouble? Why the interest in them?
No, they're not in any sort of trouble. I mean,
Don't worry about it.
We've been deputized by the sheriff to assist in the local town matters while we're here, since we can't leave the town. So,
I
given the
can
strange
tell that
happening-
you're concerned that we don't have badges, but I can assure you they are on their way.
He's badges, what?
Deputy badges.
Okay,
Official.
all right. No, I suppose I believe you.
have they questioned you? And if so, what about any?
The first night, they came in, were asking about old Conrad, who'd been attacked.
Terrible business, that, yeah.
They asked some questions about the other fellow, the out-of-towner, Wilson, something like that. Wilkins, I didn't know him. This was definitely before the Turner girl. Though they've been back to ask about her as well. Just wanted to know if anybody knew what what old Mitchell had been up to, if there were any places that he'd like to hang out besides the inn, obviously. Asking about some of the things that some of the the men had said they'd seen in the woods to the east. Things like that seemed certainly interested in the goings-on around here. A lot of the same questions that the Inquisitor and her people have been asking, if I'm honest.
Were you the one that reported on seeing dwarves?
Well, yes. It was not the night of the little girl, but one or maybe 2 nights before. I saw out on the east side of town. I could have sworn it was a dwarf, about the right size, about the right build. Just sort of moving in between some of the buildings. I didn't think anything of it at the time, but then the little girl was kidnapped a few days later, and all of this has continued to go. So I told the Inquisitor's people what I had seen, and you know how stories spread around here. But the old man that keeps up the temple, he seems too arthritic for any sort of shenanigans, but doesn't mean he's not in contact with others. Those dwarves are... you can't trust them.
Watch your tongue, boy.
Why do you say that?
Boy.
He kind of like looks at Oswald.
Alar's gonna, why do you say that?
Up in their villages and their mountains up in the hills, everyone knows the resources that they wield up there, and yet they guard their domains and their mountain passes. The dwarves are the reason that trade between Valand and the southern kingdoms is so difficult. Just not a friendly bunch. This is not news to anyone.
Yeah? And, what do they say about orcs, huh?
I'm afraid I don't know much about orcs.
Yeah, let's keep it that way. Bitch.
Intimidation check.
I try to keep it.
Yeah, I was trying to swallow the beer.
Alright.
It'll be a 9.
Okay. He, so kind of like looks sort of between you guys, and he seemed like just Osrius's size alone was enough to like. He definitely seems like he's like trying to backpedal a little on his racism. But as you kind of like get in his face, you see he sort of like his face goes like a little hard, and he says, "Well, if that is all, I think I'd best get back to my home before the sun gets any lower."
Thank you, better.
I'm gonna take out 3 silver and hand it down. And thanks for the information. I think, if you don't mind, we're going to head out with you and go see the dwarf at the temple.
Sort of takes the money quickly. Says,
It's better to walk in a group anyway.
I suppose I'm not going in that direction, but you're free to do as you wish, I suppose. He kind of gets up and begins to like, pack himself out.
Have a nice night. Keep a close watch on your kneecaps. It'd be a real shame if somebody shattered them.
He like starts walking a lot faster towards the door.
You have even less subtlety than the Goliath.
We got what we wanted, right?
You know,
And he's
in
probably
this
better
case-
off for it.
In this case, I didn't mind it.
He's probably a little less racist now.
No, I don't
I
think he's
assure you
any
he's not.
less racist than before, if not probably more than he was a mere moment ago.
Yeah, but I think he peed himself a little bit, so that's a win-win.
That is always fun. So, I believe our familiar should be back anytime soon.
Hopefully.
Well, I don't sense that mine's died, so...
No, they're not dead.
Okay.
Are you waiting for familiars or are you heading out?
I think
Can we
we've
try
given
to-
him about like 30 minutes or so at this point. I think that should have been maybe plenty of time to...
Can we try to meet them?
Yeah, we can, I mean, we're heading that way towards where
Yeah.
the camp is anyway, so...
Yeah, so with any luck, they'll get close enough that we should be able to sense them.
Yeah.
So you're heading towards the temple?
Yes.
Okay. Alright.
What are we doing at the temple?
We're going to stay the night and see if there's any more of the scratchy
Do we want to do that, or do we want to go into the woods?
I mean, we're going to have to bum rush the guards.
Or
we can try to.
some of us can try to sneak past.
I mean, we can disguise ourselves as guards and kick people out.
I mean, it's dark.
Uh,
I can see in the dark.
if it was one or two, then yeah, we can definitely disguise ourselves as guards. But there's a group of 4. I can't disguise anybody but myself.
Group consensus? Cast your votes for temple or woods.
I grow weary of these meat-skin rules. I don't know
Let's
why
play
I
Follow the
joined
Goliath.
this club.
He didn't pick what? We didn't follow the
He's going to
Goliath.
go in a direction.
I tend to follow who I need to follow, but at this point, I'm getting tiresome.
I'm thinking we should go stir up some trouble, either with the Relic Seekers over at the Mill Street Tavern, or in the woods.
Well, if we stir up too much, we are deputies.
So
We don't have our badges yet.
So Nula at this point chimes in. She says, she can't see very well in the dark. So if you're gonna go out in the woods, she'd rather do it when she can see, especially if we're trying to like sneak past guards. And she liked the old man at the temple, and she thinks it would be nice to keep him company. But she's very tired, so she's going to stay here, regardless of where you guys go, and catch some rest at the inn for the night.
Well,
How about odds woods?
how about what?
What? Odds temple, evens woods?
Do we think we can spend the night at the temple and then catch the other Relic Hunters before they head out in the morning?
Absolutely.
Or wait until they head out and, like I said, rifle through their room.
I'm way more interested in where they're going.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
I'd like to see. We might be able to find that out from seeing what they've taken.
I mean, this is just me, but if I'm a Relic Hunter who's trying to hide information from other people because we're all racing to find something, I'm not going to run it down.
So you want to try to get the jump on them if they're there? Or do you think they snuck
Or,
off the night
or
already?
follow them. I have no idea.
Oh, if
We could try to check their rooms now.
Okay. I'm gonna flip a coin. Heads, we go into the woods. Tails, we go spend the night in the creepy temple.
Sideways, we go check their rooms.
The plan's on its side. Maybe we should choose
You need a
between
coin?
temple and room.
Yeah.
Maybe we choose between temple and room.
I mean, I can always roll a d20 and above 10.
I got it. There's a gold dragon. Pick one that means heads.
I want the hole in it.
Alright, the one with the dragon is heads. They're the same on both sides. Okay.
No, they're not.
One is slightly
What's
more
is
detailed.
100, I think.
They both say 100. They're slightly different but the same area. Okay. Woods.
What's
Because it is.
Didn't land on the edge. So didn't defy the laws of physics. So
So let's sneak up close and see how many guards are left in case they change shift. See if we can get a count real fast and then go from there.
All right. Well, you should definitely stay out of sight. lead the sneaking. No offense, you're not exactly subtle, and that's what we need right now.
Really?
Fight, kiss.
That was your ship.
I'll leave you two to romance each other. Excuse me a moment. Alar's gonna stealth check, which is a whole whopping 15.
We all stealth checking.
I guess we are all stealth checking to see if we can sneak up.
I'm gonna be at a disadvantage since I can't see.
Are we trying to get past them or just?
Alar's trying to reconnoiter. If you guys start following him,
I'm not gonna follow you. You're just getting information. I'm good here.
Yeah, I guess we'll
I'm
stay
just
back
saying.
with Oz, and then he can sneak up and sneaky and see what he can see.
You're heading towards where the
Third
you are
episode
close
in
to
a
us.
row,
Yeah.
we're gonna split the party.
We're following. We're just gonna hang back a little bit.
Okay, so stealth rolls as you guys approach there.
15.
16?
15.
15. All right. Okay. So you guys approach, keeping a respectable distance. It's not easy, or it's not difficult to spot where they are. It's the same four that were there before. They have torches lit and stuck in pikes in on either side of the road to illuminate the area. And you watch as you're standing there watching. You see two of them. Not the one that you had spoken to, not Michael, but another man and a woman grab up from the the ones they have set up. They each light a torch, and they set off on what appears to be like a patrol route slightly down the road, sort of heading eastward out of the town a little bit, leaving two guards, Michael and one other individual, still at the barricade. And
Both human? The ones that are left?
they all appear to be human.
Okay. So I don't have dark vision, so that helps.
So what do you want to do here?
Well, two of them have just... Alar, I'll head back to the group. Two of them have headed off into the woods. All four of them are humans, and they have dark vision, but they do have torches.
I can use dancing lights to make torches look like someone fishing around the woods a couple feet off. Maybe that'll distract them enough so we can slip by.
I can also add a little bit of sound to that light as well. Definitely make them think that there's someone over there. That might give us a chance.
Let's go for it.
Alright.
Okay. What's your
What's the range? Last.
approaching the kind of area where they are, and you're doing some illusions to try and.
It has a range of 120 feet, so I'm about 100 feet away. And I have 3 evenly spaced torchlight lights, kind of searching around the woods off the side in the dark.
So to the south,
to the-
like the
so
opposite
if-
side
if
of
it's
them where
east-
you are.
Yeah, it's gonna be. We're like up north, I guess, and then.
So they're positioned. If this is the town, and this is east out of the town,
Yeah.
they're like here.
Okay.
And if you guys are up here, you could drop them down here. You're trying to lure them away from
Yeah,
you
yeah,
guys.
yeah.
So sort of a little more southernly from where you guys are is fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So it's gonna have 3. It's gonna kind of. They're just gonna juke
Okay.
around.
Where I see the lights, a minor illusion of very quiet rustling in bushes.
Okay. All right. So. Three lights appear, and the bushes start to rustle a little bit. The two remaining guards immediately swivel their heads. Hands go to hands go to swords, and swords immediately come out of scabbards. And they begin to move off a little bit in that direction. They only go about 20 feet from their starting position, and you hear one of them call out sort of into the woods. Not Michael, but the other one. He calls out, "In the name of the home guard of the Mythlindian army, reveal yourself if you are out there."
I'm gonna have the 3 torchlight lights move quickly towards the town and then extinguish themselves.
Minor illusion can be sound too.
Yeah, that's what I
That's what he's doing.
He's my illusion to listen.
Make it sound like footsteps moving quickly and fading
Can it
out.
be a voice?
Yeah.
So I will add a little minor illusion of like running away, like bite me, coppers.
All right.
So yeah, as they're gonna clearly book it towards town and then extinguish after they assert a direction.
Okay. So you see them like follow, and they begin to give chase to these lights. One of them you see is his back is now to you. He's got the sword in one hand. You see his hand kind of disappears up in front of him as he's like grabs something around his chest. And a moment later, you hear this sharp like as he blows on like a shrill whistle. And the two of them proceed that way and kind of go in the direction that these lights were. And every couple of seconds, again, you hear this as he's blowing this whistle to like alert, essentially, the rest of the guards and everything like that. So, what do you like in the immediate? What are you doing?
We
Before
are
anything
going
else
to
happens.
book it down the path.
While they're north of the path. We don't want to be on the path because those two that were.
Yes.
So we're gonna move to the where the path is. If this is south, this is north. Lights were there. There, we're heading toward the town. We are going
just
to the
east,
northeast.
Just east, but like just off the path.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to like follow whoever can see in the dark as well as I can.
Okay. Go ahead and make a stealth check as a group.
Okay, my stealth check is a 17.
Disadvantage.
Stealth. 18.
That is a 21.
17.
13.
17 as well.
That's
Okay.
less bad than
Maybe +2, but I can't see.
So, you guys go through the woods. For those of you who can't see, was those checks with disadvantage?
Yes.
Okay.
Make
yours with disadvantage.
So I'll roll a second one, using the already 17 rolled. Let's get a 1 and screw this up immediately. Ha 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 ha.
And it wouldn't be me.
No, it's 16.
Okay.
No, 15.
Still good enough in general. So you guys kind of move through the brush. Oz and Walter, you guys are able to sort of follow closely enough to the crunchy leaf fall footsteps of those in front of you as to not like run headlong into a tree or anything like that, as it's pretty difficult to see. It is a clear night and the moon is out, and the the rings, Azuria's rings, give a fair bit of illumination in the evening time. So you're not completely blind. Between that and following with your party members, you're able to sort of head off down the trail at a quick but not overly reckless pace through the woods. About 30 seconds after you set off, you see just south of you, you see the quickly bobbing pair of glowing torchlights as the two guards who had headed off on their patrol, you see, are now sprinting back up the path towards the town in response to the whistling noise, which is growing slightly fainter as you move away from it, and it moves away from you.
Alar is going to gather everybody together. Okay. If we are caught, we heard the whistle. We came running. We saw something heading into the woods. We pursued.
We saw the other group of 3.
I like the way you think.
Look, everybody for themselves, except we're a group, so it's ourselves. It's fine.
All right. Well, you're in the woods. You seem to have gotten past the guards' patrol. What's your plan?
Can we make our way back to the path and check for tracks?
Yes, now we can head toward the path, and I will attempt a survival roll to see if there's unusual tracks besides those on the Lithuanian guard. That's a whole whopping 15.
Okay. So... Oh, it's an olive.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I thought you were, like, patting Curtis for
Oh.
a second. I was
I
like...
think it's support.
You do not really spot much in the way of tracks on the path that do not look like those of the guards on their patrol route. But that's about all you see. So it does look to you as if no one has come up or down this path besides those guards in the past several days at least. You guys head maybe a quarter mile further into the woods as you're sort of looking and kind of gathering around, trying to search for intel. What is everybody's passive perceptions?
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
11.
No, it's not that bad.
14.
14?
12.
It is 10.
10.
11.
11.
Okay, so 14. So Alar. As you guys are, kind of you've gone, maybe a quarter mile out. You really don't see any other tracks besides the Mythlindian guard. You spotted a number of places where the guards' tracks do peel off of the path. It seems like they've been going sort of out, making detours left and right of the trail, perusing the woods and then coming back to the trail. You've passed a couple of places where they've done that. They clearly seem to have set up like a grid of a search area that they're patrolling. Just as you guys kind of come to a stop and you're sort of considering like what the next move is, what do we do from here? You just make out sort of the like of a bush that just like rustles a little bit.
Gonna draw his rapier and look toward the bush and make an active perception check, which is just slightly better than his passive perception check. That's a 15.
Just crack knuckles.
There's something in the bush.
You see
Only
nothing.
not
You see nothing in the bush as you kind of look, but you definitely identified sort of the vicinity from where it came.
Alar's gonna make a stealth check and start moving toward the bushes. That is a 21.
Stealth check. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Slowly approach.
Okay. So, Alar approaches. A medium height, medium build, half elven man with a rapier drawn comes sort of slightly around a hedge of bushes, maybe 10 feet from where you are standing. What do you do?
Oh, hi.
What do I see?
You didn't see anything at first,
Okay.
but then out of the darkness you hear a voice go, "Hi," and you like look, and there is a maybe 30-pound, completely jet black dog, just standing in the woods looking at you.
What the hell is that thing?
Do we see it? Because it's dark as hell. So
Oh shit!
Sorry.
Did we hear hi?
You heard hi.
Alar is going to crouch ever so slightly. Did you just talk?
Maybe.
I'm gonna come running up with my crowbar out.
Yeah.
Like, alright, what's going on here?
You see Alar standing about 10 feet from a small dog.
Alright, it's a dog, big deal.
The dog was the one who said hello or hi, more specifically.
Yeah, my ass.
Can I just start like, I'll like sniff their shoes and be like, what are you guys doing?
So the dog kind of comes up.
I retract my statement of my ass.
Talking dog.
That's well.
Aylar, is this your familiar?
No, my familiar is a weasel. And
Where-
weasels
Definitely
don't
not
talk.
a weasel.
Yeah. We are investigating a strange dwarf that was in these vicinities. Have you seen anything like that recently?
No.
Or smelled any decay in the area?
Let me read this quick.
Subtle.
The dog reads too.
Something
Holy hell.
smells bad to the north of here.
Could you show us where?
I'll
To
just
the
have
north
to-
of here.
Yeah, I just have to follow my nose, I guess.
This is a jet black dog, which is basically a talking shadow as far as I'm concerned in this current lighting.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, let me know this isn't some demon dog.
Yeah.
I can't see in the dark.
Me either.
You can't see in the dark. Can anybody confirm this is actually a dog for me? Because I can't see.
Yes.
I can confirm this is
I'm
a dog.
about to
The
punch.
dog-
It's a dog.
The
Whether or
ground.
not it's a demon dog is yet to be determined.
I want to point out, just real quick, not to interrupt, I want to point out, and not that I assume that this is anything but a complete coincidence, but like the second that Emily's character like joined the game here and started interacting with the party, our viewership jumped by like 10 people.
Yay!
What did we
Clearly, it's clearly a coincidence, but the people like the dog. I think
We
that's
need
what
more.
it was.
We need more
We're
dogs.
pandering with the dog by the
One guy just like stood on a mountain and was like, "There's a dog in Tabletop Legends." I'm like, "Oh my god, I gotta get on Twitch."
Shouldn't have waited an hour to introduce
Well, they spent a lot of time screwing around in the village, not making a decision about where they were
Like
going.
one thing we know how to do.
Every party knows how to dither.
To be fair, you threw us a real curveball when we finally made a decision that we couldn't leave the goddamn place.
without like murdering the guards and causing big problems.
So, before we go any further, what's your name?
It's LBD.
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 That would
Don't hurt yourself.
have to stand for
I think those are letters, right?
little black dog, would it?
It does.
I hope it's
kinda.
dog.
Yeah.
Just gonna stare. We're just gonna stare at each other for.
Walter is like not even looking in the right direction because he can't see.
And Rob just like turns his chin slightly.
Alright.
Trying to engage with a bush.
I would bark, but I don't.
That's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
That's the greatest thing.
Yes, go ahead. If you'd be so kind as to lead us in the direction of where you smelled something.
And also, if you'd be so
Awful.
kind not to lead us into some sort of murdery death trap.
I mean, there was a talking black dog on the side of the road in the middle of the night, so.
And we just trusted it. I mean, so we get what we get.
Yeah, that's fair. Any word on a familiar? So I just kind of like wandered off.
This dog ate them.
They have not returned yet.
Okay.
To be fair, we have gone quite a distance.
Do you want to dismiss them? Pop them back?
Sure.
Yep. Just pop them away.
Bob goes to weasel.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
You were
pop
waiting
her
for
back.
that.
Pop Morgan back
Alright,
as
so
well.
here's some of them.
Just gonna pop him on the shoulder.
Please don't eat this one.
So there's two like
I'll just sneak around. Yeah.
a raven
I
appears
smell
on
the
Walter's
dragon.
shoulder, and
She is an owl still.
an owl appears on Walter's shoulder, and a weasel appears in front of Osrius. Alright, so you guys, I assume, are like, you take a moment to kind of mentally commune with your familiars.
Yep.
So what you find out from your familiars there, Walter, Morgan successfully dropped off Slappy. What was it? Scooter. Scooter.
I airdropped
That's it. It's Slappy now.
Slap me now.
Screw it.
Next NPC we meet is gonna be
If this
Slappy.
is foreshadowing of what happened to his familiar, then
No. Scooter was successfully kind of like swooped down. Yeah, she dropped him off behind some of the tents, and then she spent the next period of time until you recall, dismissed her to a pocket dimension and resummoned her back here. just circling, waiting. As the second half of her directive was get when the weasel comes back out, like collect him and bring him back. The weasel did not come back out of like the camp. So what you get as you commune with Scooter, he informs you that as he was bidden, he kind of went around the camp, just sort of sniffing to see if anything smelled amiss. He got towards the he did about a 3/4 counterclockwise trek around this camp, staying towards like the outside and moving like behind from tent to tent. He made it to the sort of northeast-ish quadrant of the camp, where the very largest and most ornate of the tents is located. There is a secondary, smaller tent, maybe 5-10 yards off of that larger tent, and as he was approaching that one, he, kind of doing his little sniffing around. That secondary tent near the large one had a distinct smell of death, of rot, as if there was like a carcass or something dead inside it. But about 30-40 seconds after he kind of got into that area and was sniffing around, investigating a little bit, somebody basically came up behind him and like dropped a sack over him, and then he was just in that sack until you recalled him back here.
Okay. Scooter, you're going to have to stay in the pocket for a while. You've done good.
Weasel disappears.
So, if anyone asks, no, I don't have a weasel familiar. I don't have any familiar at all.
I don't even know what a familiar is.
So little Scooter was able to get a smell of most of the camp. There is something that smells of death there. So I'm pretty sure the Midlandian Guard found either an undead corpse or found a corpse of some kind.
Awesome.
I guess he got stuck somewhere.
He
see
got
him come out.
he got grabbed up by somebody or something and was in a sack.
That explains that.
So again, I never had a familiar.
Damn, it certainly wasn't named Slappy.
Most certainly was not. All right, LBD, if you'd be so kind.
Sure.
All right.
I'd like to attempt to, while she's perched on my shoulder, see through her perception.
It's gonna be.
She's
It's gonna
slightly
be.
to the left.
You can do that. It's a little difficult to like walk
with a camera
while
like,
doing
when
it
you're
right.
Like this, yeah.
But you can like, as long as you guys are not moving too fast, you can do that a little bit. You do know like there's no way that you're gonna be able to like fight like that or anything like that.
Yeah.
But you're able to manage just by like kind of being very careful to like shift your perspective over into the owl so that you can sort of see where you're going. A little disorienting as your vision is essentially a camera on your shoulder.
I can also confirm that there is in fact a dog there, not just...
There's definitely a dog there.
Good to finally see you.
Alright, so the group sets off. You walk northeast-ish, about a mile and a half over the course of the better part of an hour. LBD, you just following your nose to the kind of the weird smell that you had smelled before, that you were in the process of investigating before you heard these guys come to your ears, like just stomping out into the woods. And after this period of time, sort of trekking through the woods, you can tell the smell is getting quite strong. Whatever it is, you are close. Close enough, in fact, that as you guys like pause a minute from your walking, you can hear maybe 50, 60 feet off, kind of obscured from your vision behind a group of trees, a noise that's sort of like something like scrabbling at the ground, and you hear just a very sort of faint noise that's kind of like a
I think we found it.
Found something.
Aylor is gonna pull out his short bow, notching it out, and he's gonna attempt to sneak closer to get a look. And he's not gonna do that well. That's a whole whopping 12.
So, you sneak up, finding it very difficult to be overly silent as you're, basically every footfall is like on the dry, dead leaves that are on the ground.
Lots of crap.
You do move close enough, however, that you get the ability to kind of get a look. Now, perhaps 40 feet from you, as you've rounded some of these trees, in not quite a space large enough to be called a clearing, but basically like the gap between a few trees, there is the dark outline of a shadowy sort of figure that is on the ground, like down on like hands and knees basically, and seems to be like working at something.
That's all I can see. I can't make anything more.
It's based on the information that you've been hearing and stuff like that, it does appear to be vaguely dwarven in stature, but that's about all you can see from here. It's faced away from you. And it's kind of making these noises like...
I'm going to cast a minor illusion of a sound. So, am I coming up behind it?
You're coming up behind it.
Okay, I'm going to cast a minor illusion to so where it is facing, off slightly to its right, so I can try and get somewhat of a profile view of it. It's a small clearing, so just beyond the clearing, like a loud snap of a branch.
Okay. So you do this. And these sounds sort of like off the trees in the silence. This, whatever this is, seems to pay it absolutely no mind as it just continues to at the dirt in front of it. Great.
Okay. I'm going to take a shot at it. And that is 11 plus 6, so 11 plus 5, so 16.
That one it.
Alright. Sneak attack. 6, and 4, and 2, 12 plus 3, 15 points of piercing damage.
Okay. Alright. So, you sneak up on whatever this thing is. You bring your bow back to fully drawn. You take aim and you loose the arrow. And there is a sort of, the rest of you kind of from slightly further off, you see the form of Aelar kind of take this position. And what you hear is this, the very quick, like, of an arrow striking something. And this creature, as the arrow back into it, it doesn't necessarily react as if in pain. It more kind of like turns around.
Oh, that's definitely undead.
And you get an eyeball full of the nearly entirely skeletal, almost like mummified looking visage of what clearly at one time was a dwarf. The creature has one like remnant of what appears to be an eye and one empty eye socket. It has a long, fully like just like any color that was in it is just drained away by age. Clearly had been ornately braided at some time, but is a little like frazzled at this point. Just the flesh all around its face is like drawn back, and you can see like the teeth. His nose is gone. There's just like an empty hole in its skull, and it just sort of looks up at you with this like one rotted eye. And now that it has like taken note of you, there's like a brief moment of pause where you see it just sort of like taking in the information that you're there, and then it goes.
Okay.
And begins to move towards you. And I think that's a good place to take our break.
Bum, bum, bum.
Okay, stick around. Give us about 5 minutes so that I can let these folks urinate, and then we will come back and we will have ourselves a fight, boys and girls.
At last,
Our
combat.
first fight.
The first fight, it only took you 3 episodes.
How bad are you doing to mess this one up?
One zombie so far? I don't think so.
So far.
All right, go ahead and take us a break. Hello, welcome back. I was typing something and didn't pay attention when I got the cue that we're back.
Oh.
Welcome back to Tabletop. Dude, I am very off-center tonight, and I can't imagine people are enjoying it. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm sorry.
Amateur.
Actually,
Amateur. What
Do
is
you
this?
need to be moved, or are you good?
What is this amateur hour?
It's tightened.
let's see what happened with that. Actually, Jason and Adam's camera is jacked a little.
How did this happen? We literally didn't touch anything.
I've been off-center all night. It is what it is. Don't worry about it too much.
Because it's combat.
That's way worse.
Combat time.
It is combat time, and hopefully people can appreciate our new and improved battle map. We got the feedback that it was dumb and stupid from the first session, so we made a better one.
Fine. Fine.
There's no finesse here at all.
There is no finesse. And I've peeled back the curtain, and I turned the camera and showed everybody the tripod that our stuff is on. But this, that looks good. It's fine. Okay, so
God. Okay.
welcome back. Let me see if this works. Yeah, it is. Hey! Okay, good. Nobody has given anything away since our last time. So I have opened the giveaway in chat. From this point on until the end, till we wrap up at 10 o'clock. Type Legends in chat.
Type that Legends.
And that's fine. You can't have that
Smash
one.
that Legends.
Smash that Legends button. Enter Legends in chat. We are going to give away one more of these Tabletop Legends Magic AF mugs.
Yeah.
Stop messing with the DM camera. That's so bad.
Oh.
It's hard to do it on a
You
delay.
need to tilt it up a little bit.
Just
Wait, do you want to wait for the delay to be over?
I think the light is over.
I believe the delay's over.
Okay, up a little bit.
Tilt it up slightly
It-
and frame it away from the door frame here a little, like
So like,
It's hard
push
because
down.
it like
push down a teeny bit.
It like
Yeah.
doesn't do it to you.
And then rotate it like
Away from the
door like a fraction. Okay. If it's not good from
Okay.
this point, screw it.
It's good for you. It's good.
Somebody in chat asked if that's a Dungeons and Doggos mini. It is a Dungeons and Doggos mini.
Ah.
LB's mini is a Dungeons and Doggos.
Yay!
Sure.
It's got a little cloak on it.
That may or may
The
not
only
be
reason
that I
Nulo
play.
watching from home.
It may or may not be Nula watching from home. Okay, so like I said, legends in chat. We're gonna give away a mug at the end of the episode. Enter for your chance to win. All right, so we join.
If you don't win one, buy one.
If you don't win one, buy one.
Now,
MarbleMoonStudio.com.
have a moving buddy, get one.
Coupon code Tabletop Legends, I believe, is still active. until
Coupon,
this
it's
week.
Legends 20 for 20% off your order if you buy a mug from Marble Moon Studio. Only through April, and then
With April?
you will pay
All of April?
full price. Or is it done already?
Maybe.
Solid-
We'll get a confirmation.
Solid baby.
Still put it in there. Put it in there and see what happens.
Professional.
Marble Moon,
Production.
please show your stuff real
Yes,
fast.
the absolute worst that will happen is you pay $15 for an awesome mug.
Hey, mug.
And for a good cause.
And
Yes,
for a good
and
cause.
proceeds going towards the Zephyr Foundation.
Alright, roll for show.
Okay, boys and girls. If I can have silence, please. We practice this off camera.
Oh, no.
I thought you said
This whole production is quickly falling apart. Oh boy.
Don't worry, we got it.
Anyway,
It's good.
At least that wasn't the one we were giving away.
it's not the one we're giving away.
Make sure you have them all. So you can
Echo,
Yes.
roll initiative.
No.
Oh, that didn't cancel, thank goodness.
That doesn't look like. Oh, it hasn't happened on stream yet. I was like, that doesn't look like anything on stream.
Brace for mood lighting.
Yeah, brace for mood lighting.
Sorry for missing one.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Matt, by the side of the.
What? I see it. Here's that.
Condition red.
Condition red.
We didn't do this. We didn't turn the light off out there, so you can definitely see that through.
Oh my god.
Everything's fine.
Anyway,
We're
We're good
fine.
to go.
It's all We're all fine here. How are you?
Kill
combat
stuff.
lighting. Combat music. Let us roll initiative.
Yay.
God.
Alrighty, everybody good? 25 to 20.
We're not starting off great.
I don't know if I
Good.
rolled. Hold on. Never mind. It's definitely not 25 to 20.
Never mind.
19 to 15.
19.
19.
Okay, LBD and Alar.
We also got
LBD. Cal?
17.
17. 14 to 10.
14.
14
10.
and 10.
Okay, yes, those
Ah.
are the numbers here too.
Nice little range there.
Walter. All right, Brom, what do you got?
7.
7.
Hey.
4. Good thing I'm the bard in the back.
Roll for Zambi.
That's not a band name, bard in the back.
Maybe you can inspire some people.
Spy from behind.
That's another band name.
All right, so Alar, you fire a crossbow into this dwarven, mummified, animated corpse that, as the arrow strikes, it kind of lifts its head, turns, and looks to you. Pulls back what remains of its withered, desecrated lips. Raises its arms and begins to move towards you. You and LBD are the first to react.
Okay. Go and take another shot at it.
All right.
Does a 18 would hit since
18 hits, yes.
previous one did so. Oh wait a minute, no, it's aware of my presence. It's not a sneak attack anymore. What?
Don't worry about it.
5 points of piercing damage.
Okay. All right. So, anything else?
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. That's definitely an undead. As
Alright.
he's putting away his short bow and drawing his rapier.
Second arrow hits into it. It grunts as it continues to move forward. Albedi, what are you doing?
Well, I guess.
That's tree cover, so you can
Oh.
move. You can move
Oh,
through
okay.
that, but it's difficult terrain, which means it costs double your movement.
Then I can probably get about like here.
Okay.
And I guess I think I'm too far to like throw it.
You have a dart. What's your range on your darts?
Is this 26?
5, 10, 15, 20, 25. He's about 30 feet away from you, so you are in range.
Okay, then I'll just throw it.
He's 30 feet away from you, and the range is what, 25, you said?
It's
20.
20.
20. Okay, so your attack is a disadvantage as you throw a dart.
I rolled twice. Oh.
Mm-hmm. You can roll twice.
Oh, that's. It says 14 or 15.
So 14 is the
14.
bar. Okay, that'll hit.
Okay.
Go ahead and roll damage for your dart.
So.
As Albedi, who you guys now kind of take notice as you're traveling with her, or have noticed as you've been traveling with her, is actually, as it turns out, wearing a rather custom-looking set of like loose-fitting robes and clothing.
There's LPD right there.
There's Albedi. A number of like pockets and pouches are strapped in various places along her form, and she basically like takes several bounding steps forward, and with dexterity that amazes everyone who can see her anyway, does like a sort of a flip while simultaneously reaching with her muzzle into a pouch on her side. And she comes up with a very rapid, like, flick of the head, and a very short, like, needle-like knife basically goes through the air and just strikes into the abdomen of this mummified zombie dwarf creature with this sort of, like, squelchy sort of noise. And it just kind of continues on its like shambling way as it moves forward.
Smells juicy.
Is a little squishy it sounds. Kel, you are up
That
next.
sounds amazing.
I'm going to cast light on Osrius's weapon.
Great axe.
Great axe bursts into light. Blink your eyes a little bit,
Oh yeah.
Now I can see.
and you can see very well.
I'll take a couple steps into the woods.
I give a crooked smile.
Firing through any of that like underbrush type stuff is gonna will hamper your aim.
I mean, I'm not trying to set the woods on fire.
That's fine. She is right at the edge of it there, but if, like, if you were to like shoot a projectile or something through it, it would
Keep
be.
it always sunny over me. I'm trying to set the woods on fire.
The gang sets the woods on fire. Yeah, there's tonight's episode name. Alright, what are you doing? Anything else or just moving forward?
Nope.
Okay. So Cal takes a couple steps into the woods.
What's the light radius on
I think it's 20 feet of bright light and 20 feet of dim light.
radius?
Yes.
So it's like 40. It's 40 total feet wide.
I'm checking.
That's a lot.
I believe that is the case.
Alright,
great, yeah.
move that dwarf right up to Albedi.
Oh.
Here or here?
Like the first one, yeah, right in front of her there.
Yeah, so it's 20 feet of bright light, 20 feet of dim light.
He.
It's like literally 80.
Oh,
That's
you're.
all of it.
By the by, you're from what it says on there, your armor class should be reduced by 2.
Because you already did reduce it.
Yes, but you
Okay.
still have a magical item still equipped to you there that shouldn't be.
Okay.
It's gonna shamble up to you, and it basically just rears back one arm and wails it forward like a club and tries to batter into you as you're the first person it sees. That's gonna be it's only an 8 to hit. I assume I misses.
Yeah.
So this.
Nice try.
There's a kind of a shattering noise as its club-like arm smashes through a bunch of like small twigs and underbrush below the below the canopy of trees here, but LBD is able to basically like dodge out of the way as it kind of comes up. Bring us to Walter.
Okay, can I get a clear shot on it currently?
You'd have to move. You got to get around these things, or he'll get. He basically has like the tree stuff is counting as like half cover unless you get around it.
Okay. What's my cover? Is that do I just have disadvantage if I try to smash it? Or...
Half cover just increases his
AC.
His AC. Yeah.
Okay. I guess I'm gonna send Morgan up, and then I'm gonna she's gonna patrol on the top, and then I'm going to move. Ow. I can't see in the dark. Shut up.
It's not dark anymore.
There's
that's
giant
true.
glowing great
Yeah,
eggs.
I'm just gonna go to about the edge of the woods. I guess like one space into the woods.
Okay.
Seems objective. I'm going to use Chill Touch.
Okay. Is it it's a ranged spell attack, I believe?
I do believe it is a ranged spell attack.
And it rolled it.
19 plus 5.
That will definitely hit. So even through the trees, you snake this ghostly, frosty kind of visage of your own outstretched hand as it just streaks forward and splashes over the front of this undead dwarf, dealing
A 1d8, which is 5 points of necrotic damage, and it can't regain hit points until the start of my next turn.
Okay.
If I hit an undead target, it also has disadvantage on attack rolls against me until the end of my next turn.
Okay. So this icy sort of hand splashes over the chest of this dwarf, and you see like a mixture of like necrotic and icy magic spreads over the front of it, and it sort of moves a little more rigidly as it continues to try and push forward towards your group.
It only has disadvantage against me.
Only against you.
Only
Yep.
against
Osric, you are up, so you can kind of see by the illumination of your axe, there is a gnarly-looking dwarven zombie creature pressing its way through the underbrush towards your party members.
Now, since I got the light on my great axe there, smirking, rushing through, it's about here. That's as far as I can get.
Okay.
That is technically still in melee range.
Yep.
Right? I'm going to make a attack with that great axe.
All right, roll to hit.
Trying to show the zombie the light.
Yep. Nat 20.
Hey!
Yeah.
All right. Okay, go ahead and roll your damage die and double it.
And actually, with that too, with my feat of Great Weapon Master, I get to make another melee attack as a bonus action.
Alrighty.
So, it's great.
Just to be aware,
Yes.
if you do that, which you can,
Yeah.
you're not going to be able to rage. Because
Yes.
to rage is also a bonus action. So you can,
Yes.
Okay. You
Because I'm
didn't-
not raging
You didn't
this time
declare you were
anyway.
raging. So
Yes,
you're
I
good.
did.
I just want to let you know.
Yeah. I purposely
Cool.
just making sure that.
You're not raging because you're happy.
Yes. Don't want
He
to.
gets,
Don't want
he
to get
gets
there.
to kill something. He's happy right now.
So that's going to be. Oh, that's cocked. So. Okay, so that is 13. So 26 doubled there as straight damage. And the second hit will be a. Oh, that's probably not going to hit. 9.
9 will not quite. So you swing at him, but as you're just like on the edge of the woods here, you're like your axe like nicks off of a small branch from one of the trees and it deflects it just enough that not really that the zombie dodges you so much as like the branch throws your swing off slightly and you just bury the axe into the ground at its feet. But the first slash, definitely, you rend like a big right in its front. And as you do, especially within the light of your illuminated great axe, as your great axe slashes into it, you see a bunch of like black soot comes like flooding off of your head. And within the glowing light of Osrius's great axe, those of you who are like kind of up on this thing now can see that it looks like, in addition to being like partially mummified, at some point this creature was perhaps like partially burned.
Huh. Okay. I guess it's me and LBD and
Pretty much
Kel
everybody
and
but
Oz.
Brahm and Alar at this point can kind of take note now. Brahm, you are up.
What is the dwarf zombie man wearing?
Far as you can tell, it's like it basically just looks like rags at this point. It looks like they may have been something at some point, but for sure cloth. You don't see any metal on him or anything like that.
Well, balls.
It seems to be pretty well wrapped up
Okay.
in some sort of a cloth that has just almost disintegrated with age.
Is the dart still over, or did Oz knock that out?
Is the what?
The dart? LBD's dart?
LBD's dart would be in him.
Does he
well
use
as-
dark metal?
As well as the crossbow
Yeah.
bolts.
Crossbows have a metal tip.
All right. I'm gonna heat that metal.
Hey, finally.
This is the first time the audience is seeing it. This is like the Brahm special that he's like, he did this in all of our...
I'm gonna heat that metal.
I'm gonna heat that metal. Alright, so you cast heat metal.
That metal.
Cutie.
Alright, well, the metal is embedded in it, so it's just gonna take the damage.
He's gonna do
No, you gotta be still.
2d8 fire damage. Seems like a lot. So 12 fire damage.
Okay.
Ooh.
Alrighty.
Do I smell this while I'm next to it as well?
It already probably smells pretty bad.
Even like more of the burn.
The needle-tipped dart that LBD flung into this thing glows cherry red. You just see like the couple of inches that are still sticking out of its chest cavity begin to like glow. And there's kind of like a noise as it begins to like sizzle into it. The zombie itself doesn't seem to be bothered by this, but you definitely hear it like burning. It does not smell super good.
Oh, that does not sound right.
No.
All right, top of the order, we have.
When I asked what is the dwarf wearing, somebody in chat said definitely Crocs.
Well, if he didn't, then he's now wearing Crocs.
He is now.
Krasador Crocs, ladies and gentlemen.
I heard somebody else say khakis. Okay, the top of the order, Alar and LBD. What are you guys doing?
Dashing 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. And Alar is going to fling a dagger at the dwarven body. And that's going to be a 18.
That'll hit.
So 7 points of piercing damage.
Okay. Alright, so the dagger swings past it. As it's flipping past, it like slices a clean cut in his shoulder and then continues to spin on past him, hitting a tree and just like bouncing to the ground.
Ooh, sorry!
Well timed.
What
Well
the
timed
hell?
enough. It doesn't come too near to anybody. You're okay. LB,
Just so, like-
what's
It's a broad back! I thought it...
what's your plan?
Okay, so I'm gonna get my paws in there gonna do
Pause.
two swift little paw punches. and-
So you have at this level you don't have multi-attack, so it's
Well, I'm
it's
gonna
attack.
do
You can burn a key point
Yeah.
for so it would be 3.
the yeah,
Okay.
and then a real swift tail swipe.
Okay, 2.
I'm gonna go for his eye on
So
the
burning
tail.
a key, just going on a tail. All right.
Okay, that was
Some good ones.
okay. So 17,
Yep.
and that one hits 10.
Yep, that'll hit.
Wow.
Alright, so then all 3 hit.
Okay. All right, 3 hits. I'm gonna roll some damage.
6 plus 12 is 18.
18 damage. All right.
Damn.
So, you guys, in the light of Osrius' axe, you see this little dog, basically like hunkers down, and all 4 feet like springboards up in the air, and rolling her momentum proceeds to like throw a back paw into this thing's chin, flips over, throws a front paw, and using the momentum of her like paw strikes as she punches this thing to like reorient her body, then like spins this way and comes across and just like slams her tail into this like right into this thing, right across like the bridge of its nose. And with each strike, there's this almost this puff of like, it's like a sort of almost visible wave of like pressure. Because she strikes and there's like a poof of pressure comes off of the punches. She lands these quick 3 blows and then pop, back onto her feet. And the zombie is kind of like almost doesn't seem to understand. Like the strikes were so fast that it seems like it doesn't really register where it even got hit from, as it just kind of continues to like at all of you. Which brings us to Kel.
I'm at the back. Did that dog just kung fu that zombie?
Yes.
I'm literally imagining like
Yes.
Hong Kong Fooey right now, and I can't get it out of my head.
We're gonna firebolt.
Firebolt.
That is a 9.
Where are you standing?
Right here.
A 9 will hit.
All right. That is 8 points of fire damage.
Okay. All right. So, similarly, but on a much larger scale to Brahm's heat metal, there is like as this streak of fire arches off of Kel and strikes into this zombie, and you hear its like dried, sort of rotted skin kind of just like sizzles. It smells
Wonderful.
not good.
Worse than it did before.
It smells much worse than it did before.
It smells like feet, lapped and wrapped in burnt leathery bacon.
That is Kel's turn, which brings us to the zombie, which at this point, now that Walter's gotten a little closer here, you see like Albini is like punching it. Osrius slammed his axe into it. Kel hit it with a firebolt. Alar's back there. For all of this like pummeling that it's taking, Walter, you see this thing's one good eye go as it locks onto you. And it is going to move between you two up to Walter.
It's like here.
Yep. And it is going to take an attack against Walter.
It is a disadvantage.
It is a disadvantage.
Sadly,
Which is good because it crit on its first roll.
Ooh.
And its second roll is a 15. Does a 15 hit? Does it? Okay. So it does manage to hit you. Dealing.
Hit you with a necro hand.
It's another good bad thing.
Pretty sure that's something. That has to be something.
$13 bludgeoning damage. It just like wails into you. and you see that it, like, at first where it looked like it was looking at you, as it's come in and it's like smashed against you, you see its eye is like fixated on your shovel.
Nope.
So that's its turn. And Walter, it is your turn. You just got sucker punched by a zombie.
I'm gonna whip out my shovel and chop back in the ground with you, and then shillelagh and smack it in the face with the shovel.
All right.
Shovel time.
Bitch. 11.
11 will hit.
Okay, that was 1d8 plus 5 for shillelagh. 1d8 plus 3 for shillelagh. Shillelagh. 10 smack in the face damage.
10 smack in the face damage.
Satisfying dong sounds.
So this thing like pushes its way past LBD and Oz and just like mauls into Walter, who responds by drawing his shovel out from his pack, and just you see him like he grips into it, and there's this shimmer of magic runs up the length of the shovel as he then brings it just like flat and like right into this thing's face, and there's this sickening like crunching noise, and as he pulls back the shovel, there's a perfect like crushed shovel V right in the skull of its head. Its one good eye is now like even further out of position than it was before, as it just continues to like menace at you guys, seemingly undeterred so far.
And then I'm gonna have what's her name, Morgan, come down and try to use the help action.
Okay, so Morgan will use the help action. So the next
she's
person
claw at his face and
next person to make an attack against it, assuming you're like not obscured by trees, we will have advantage. Okay, so that is Walter's turn, which brings us to the point where, with a sort of like oh good, second one
There's more.
oh yeah,
pops out of the trees over here.
oh yeah.
Where I can't
Where
reach.
exactly did you...
This one, another dwarven figure, just as undead and zombified and mummified as the other one appeared. Comes like crashing out of the underbrush, and goes right for the first person in front of it, which is Kel. So it's going to make an attack against him, and that is a 12 to hit.
Kel is
So I'm going to cast Healed using my reaction.
Okay. All right. So that I assume increases your
Yes.
AC enough to knock it hit.
Yep.
Okay. So this thing lunges out of the underbrush, and at the last second, you turn and kind of see like and you throw up your magic there, and there's this sort of shimmer of like this blue half dome of light appears right in front of Kel, and as this thing's arm smashes into it, there's a reverberating like the dome itself kind of shatters away, but it deflects the impact of this zombie's arm as it was smashing down on him.
Heal us here in spirit.
Did you roll for wild magic?
I did not. That was a 12.
Okay, so no wild magic. Cool. Alrighty. So that is that zombie's turn. Osrius, you're up. There's one zombie in front of you. Another one has just come charging out of the trees to your left.
As zombie is then to attack Walter, and he hits with a shovel, Oz will turn around and try to grab the zombie's face and smash it down into the ground while raging.
Okay. Make a melee attack roll.
But it's gonna be a melee attack.
Trying to figure out how it's gonna accomplish that.
Pops.
That is a 9.
Yep.
I think you mean 9.
Get it right. 9.
9.
Alright,
And then DC 13.
He fails that. So, 1d4 plus strength plus rage damage.
Okay.
As you just like
triangles.
I'm trying to find it. That is 2 plus 7.
7. Okay.
And for lightning damage, there's 2.
Okay. So it's an additional 2 lightning damage. Okay.
Yeah, 2 lightning. So it's like just smashing his face on the ground and just
He's them with your fist.
just like
All right. Whoops.
shoving it back into the ground. Just
around.
while like lightning the hell out of
So you
it.
basically whip around and like palm the back of this thing's head, and just poof, slam its skull into the ground. There's like this half second as the head hits the ground of like a resistance, and then you just feel like as the skull collapses and you crush into the ground. You pull your hand away, and the body gives one sort of like twitch, and stops moving.
Yes.
Brum, you're up. You just saw Osrius face plant one of the zombies into the ground. You can just make out the outline of a second one menacing Kel on the far side of the trees there.
The face planted one is dead, correct?
As far as you can tell, not moving.
Well,
Dead one's
if he's not dead, he's gonna take fire damage.
Replay your fire damage.
Saying, like, he's either dead or he's gonna take some fire damage.
Well, he's not moving. So are you going to reapply your fire damage?
Well, it's a bonus action, so
Alright, it's fine.
it's gonna happen anyway.
After smashing it to the ground, just like
That's 8 extra fire damage.
Okay.
cherry like red things.
It's been burning the whole time.
He's really dead.
Okay.
He's like getting lightning rod by all the metal and all the heating up.
Alright, so we do that.
I'm going to move up to kind of where my compadres are.
Alright.
Then I'm gonna. This is the.
That's the other one.
That's the other guy. I'm gonna vicious mockery that guy.
Alright. Alrighty. What's your spell save?
I believe it did 13.
Next page, top.
I believe it as well. Okay, what do you say? What's your vicious mockery? I can't keep along with chat. My
Yeah,
Twitch
it's
keeps
15.
freezing.
Hey! You huge zombie sack of shit! We're gonna come over there and we're gonna beat your face in, just like we beat your other friend in, and then we're gonna use you as toilet paper, you punk ass bitch! Yeah, what he says!
The future vicious mockeries probably need to be slightly shorter. As an entire round of combat is 6 seconds. Okay, he fails his save, so go ahead and roll your damage.
Not like he really understands
Everybody
any of
stops
this.
for a second while Brahm says 2 insulting paragraphs to a zombie.
And Laura's just gonna stop and do the slow turn and look like, really?
Maybe 4 psychic damage.
They come like a bat out of hell out of these trees towards the zombie.
So the zombie, for its part, is kind of like looking at Kel like... and as you start yelling at it, it sort of turns to you and it's like...
Its feelings are definitely hurt.
It seems distracted momentarily, at the very least. Which brings us to the top of the order, Alar and Albini.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Casting Booming Blade.
Alright,
That is a 14.
that will hit.
And because it's engaged with Kel, sneak attack.
Do I have to be threatening it for it to be engaged?
It did, well, I mean, you're in melee range with it, so you're engaged. It did take a swing.
It just has to be trying to fight you.
Okay.
So 12 plus 3 is 15, and if it moves of its own free will, the spell will go off.
Alright, so it takes...
And he's going to yell at you.
Get out of there! Get out of there! Alright, Albini, what are you doing with your turn?
Am I allowed to safely go up to it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
If it moves, the spell goes off and
Okay.
harms it.
All right.
Alar's just trying to protect the small gnome.
I will do some more flurry blows.
Alright, for another key point.
Yeah. Oh.
How?
Is that
Ow.
2 1s?
Shnikes.
And what's the third one there? I didn't see those.
You didn't see that.
There's 7.
There's 7s, I see.
Well, it's clearly an 18
And
right
then
now.
24.
Alright, the 24 will hit, so go ahead and roll damage on that.
All right. That's my tail.
She
Okay.
doesn't have shoes, but she tripped on
Oh
her
my
shoelaces.
god.
Her weapons
5.
got flown into the distance.
5 damage?
Yeah.
Alright. Luckily for you, I have not instituted critical failure rules in this campaign.
That probably would have
so
taken
you
my
just-
head off.
You just miss. Although we may have a future rule where if you roll multiple ones in one shot, maybe something bad happens.
Just because this is in the way.
But for now, you're
If you roll
that was
multiple
it.
ones, your character instantly pees themselves.
Blame the equipment. Blame the equipment.
I'm a dog, so I'll just keep
So
it.
you just like stop.
I'll just put this right here.
Right, right.
It's not, it's not me, it's the equipment.
Alright, so that is LBD. Kel, you're up. You got a zombie in your face.
I'm going to stumble backwards and disengage.
Alright.
Into the forest?
Shouting,
I'm
no,
gonna-
no, no!
Put him this way. Yes, keep going, keep going.
But it was way more high pitched than that.
More like,
Its opportunity attack is a.
No, I'm withdrawing.
Oh, okay, disengage
Full
action.
action
Gotcha.
withdraw.
Okay. Alright, I don't think it was gonna hit anyway, so you probably.
Did it hit that one?
Alright, so Kel like runs for
There's
it.
a hell-shaped cloud of dust.
Okay. Alright, okay, so
Stay strong, Kel.
as all of you guys have your eyes on this second zombie, Walter and Osrius, from next to you guys, you hear. You see the mostly like mush-headed original zombie stands back up and kind of gives a turn of like what remains of its shattered, crushed, lopsided skull. Fixates back on Walter and his shovel once more. And he's gonna make attack against you.
Is he? Never mind. It's fine. It's the same one, so it's still. It's all good. The class feature is irrelevant if I've attacked it before.
Okay. I assume a natural 19 hits.
You know what, actually?
Conveniently,
You would
so
actually
it's
bite me.
9 points of bludgeoning damage.
yep.
Wails into you.
And I was gonna bury it. Nope.
Alright, so this zombie. It's not really as able to make the like moaning
No,
noise.
we're
Like,
guttural
there's
sounds.
just like these gurgles coming out of like its neck. And that'll be his turn. Oh, Walter, it's your turn. So you just got punched again by this creature.
No, it's
You
yours, then
and
me.
then-
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're before
Okay,
me.
yeah. We're gonna shillelagh this guy in the face again.
Did this one get to go?
That's after him.
Okay.
Yep, we're gonna shillelagh this guy again.
10? Yep. that hits.
Look, the zombies are
4.
bitches.
4 damage?
I got roll 1 on the damage. Yeah.
Okay. Alright. You hit it with your shovel, and it like collapses down onto the ground again.
And I'm gonna say, it's really, I don't think it's interested in me. I think it's interested in this.
Friends of yours? Possibly.
Never met a dead dwarf before.
Alrighty, so that's his turn. Zombie 2 there is going to turn as you just struck it with your magically enhanced blade. It kind of like fixates on your sword and then lunges forward and takes a swing at you.
Mark is 14.
That is a 13, so no, that will not hit it. lunges dumbly at you, but you sidestep out of the way.
Really?
Okay, so that's that guy's turn. Osrius, you are up.
Okay.
The zombie has fallen down to the ground again.
I'm going to try to pick up the zombie and throw it out from the woods. From
Okay.
where the stretch we are.
Make a athletics check.
That's good because I have a +5 in athletics.
And advantage.
And advantage. Do I have
Advantage because you're raging.
Oh yeah. That is good. So that is 24.
Okay. So you just throw this corpse
While shocking him simultaneously through the air.
out into the open there behind Alar.
He does a crazy flip and lands on his feet.
Okay. Parkours it up.
Quick kill.
Full damage on the rage thing.
2.
2 damage. Okay.
Does he take any damage from getting thrown there?
Doesn't really seem to.
Okay.
Okay.
It's full 2 wounds.
Alrighty.
Was that for me throwing the knife?
Zombie falls.
Yes!
Fair point.
Alright, Brom. You're up.
Good job.
What? That wasn't him. I am going to.
Move through the wood.
Yeah, probably.
It's
Take a step. I'm not. Oh god.
10, 20, 30.
Just gonna take one step into the trees.
Okay.
And I am going to Tasha's hideous laughter that zombie. So he's got to make a wisdom saving throw or fall prone.
Okay.
A creature with an intelligence score of 4 or less isn't affected.
Okay. Nothing happens when you do that spell.
Damn it.
I was pretty sure. I was pretty sure it was too dumb to be effective. I was
should've
trying to
read
see
the whole
this-
thing
super
before I-
intelligent.
before
So
I-
you
Get
kind
out.
of like cast out this magic and you feel it like wash past this creature, but there's nothing up there. There's nothing going on.
There's nothing.
Upstairs. Nothing happens.
Why are you casting it? Wait, why are you casting Tasha's Hideous Laughter on that thing? It's up there!
There's nothing up there.
Nothing going on upstairs.
Well,
This has been a
Well,
learning
me.
experience.
All right. Alar Nelbeady, you're up.
Alright. Casting Booming Blade again. That is a 19.
That'll hit.
6, 7, 10 points of piercing damage.
Okay.
And then as a bonus action, Alar is going to withdraw, going, come here, boy, come on.
So it'll make a.
Bonus action withdraw.
Oh,
yeah.
I see. Okay. All right.
Come on.
What are you doing?
Okay, so I'm gonna go for another flurry of blows.
All right.
Hope for
You
better.
only got one keeper.
Oh, that's a lot better.
Ooh,
So all of them
all
hit.
3 of those will definitely hit.
Yeah, 14's now. Okay. So,
Speaking of LED.
so 18.
18 damage? Okay. So once more, the dog leaps up into the air, this time doing like a full backflip and 2 simultaneous back feet, like uppercut the zombie underneath the chin as the flip like completes. The tail comes around and like whack, cracks it in the side of the head. All of which seem like clearly it's like impacted, but it really just is in the process of like trying to turn its head and follow Alar and his magic infused weapon. All right, that's your turn. Kel, you're up.
I mean, I want to spend my turn like slack-jawed looking at this dog that's more confident than all of us.
Come on, come on. Holy
I'll step over
crap, that's
here
amazing.
and firebolt it.
All right, roll the hit.
That is a 13
That'll hit.
for 1 point of fire damage.
All right.
I got it.
You got it, all right.
You're doing great, buddy.
Alrighty. Once again.
Okay.
That zombie stands up,
Damn it.
Oh.
takes a few steps to its whatever direction that is from where it's standing.
It's facing this way right now.
Right, it's turning around and going right at Alar.
Alright, that was
Whatever direction it's not facing.
in the plan.
It does miss though. So it just like most of its head has been smashed by Oz, so it kind of like takes this staggering, unaimed swipe in your general direction.
Osrius, you didn't finish this one.
I'm trying.
Less throwing, more axe hitting, please.
Alright, Walter, you're up. First round, you didn't get punched within an inch of your life by a zombie.
I'm gonna Eldritch Blast it.
Alright,
Good old Eldritch
It's
Blast.
a 15.
that'll hit.
And I need a D10 for 3 points of damage.
3 points of damage, okay?
I really like it. Last feature. So it actually does.
Alright. Smacks into the side of it, it falls down, topples down to the ground again.
Thank you.
Alrighty.
Fix this! It's fixed.
Okie dokie. Alright, zombie number 2. Beelines towards Alar, so we'll take that damage.
It takes 3 points of thunder damage.
Alright. So
How
it
much
takes
further
it goes all the way over to Alar. Steps literally like into the chest cavity of its fallen compatriot as it goes past. It goes right up to Alar.
LBB get an attack.
Yes.
As it goes by?
Wait. Is it a bonus action to use your key points? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have your reaction. Yes, you can make an attack roll.
Okay. Can I, like, do a dart? As it goes by?
Um,
Or no?
I think it's
Uh,
I feel like it'd be melee.
Yeah, it's gotta be melee.
Melee.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'll hit.
Okay.
Roll damage.
That would definitely hit.
Almost. 2?
2 damage.
Does that get,
Two
like, plus
punch
my 4?
damage.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Plus your strength. 6. Okay.
Beast of a roller.
All right. So it sort of like walks away. You give it one last like, pock, paw it right in the like, side of one of its knees. There's sort of this like crunching noise, and as it continues forward, it's sort of like it's now adopted the classic like zombie, dragging one leg behind it as you've like shattered one of its knees. But it rolls right up on Alar. There's this echoing like. As the magic of his booming blade goes off as it starts to move. But undeterred, it walks right up to you, and a 18 plus some odd to hit
Dear God, yes.
will strike you, and he's going to deal 14 bludgeoning damage to you. So he just like drives a zombie clawed hand into you. Okay, Osrius,
that hurts a
you
lot.
are up.
Alright, so I'm gonna come out of the wood with a fury.
With a fury.
Come up right to the one that hit Alar there.
Alrighty.
And try to go at its kneecap area with a great axe.
Alright. Roll to hit.
It is a 16.
I will definitely hit. Roll damage.
15. Plus,
Alrighty.
then
It
storm on the one.
succeeds its death save.
Storm on
Oh,
the
on
one
that
that's actually like on the
Okay,
ground.
it
right
still
now.
succeeds, so it'll take half.
Okay. Half of 5.
Alrighty. So,
Yeah.
Osrius. Brum, you're up.
Yeah.
It did it.
The other spell I was going to use has no effect on undead. So-
Did it?
What's up, buddy?
Did it have anything like done to its legs at all with attacking? Like trying
you
to
basically
pinpoint to
like
its legs?
shattered the rest of the leg that LBD had already like smashed.
But it's still standing.
It doesn't seem to be like any creature that had like awareness of physical pain in its body would clearly be on the ground at this point. This thing is basically using its one good leg and the like mashed up remains of the
Just
other
like-
one. It's basically just like
Okay.
up still. Okay.
Okay,
What are you doing, Brom?
I'm going to cast Dissonant Whispers on the one standing.
Alrighty.
And he's going to make a...
Is that did you read it far enough to know that
Yes.
make sure that doesn't fit by intelligence?
Wisdom saving throw.
Okay, which I'm sure he will fail. Except he rolls a 16. His wisdom is a -2, so it's a 14, which I think still is good enough. It seems.
Alright, well, I'll see you next week. I'm just going to go home.
It's just like get up, take your minute chair.
There's a dog craning away.
Welcome back.
I'll watch from the side of
It seems far too intent on Alar's seemingly magical blade to be affected by your dissonant whispers there. So for the rest of you, Brahm is just
blowing another spell.
standing like.
Just like creeping in the
He's
woods.
like slightly around like a tree, just like muttering
It's like
to himself to no effect.
I'm glad I showed up.
We are glad you are here too.
How long does your light last on the blade?
Mine?
Kel's.
Sorry, Kel. How long does your
I'm
light-
pretty sure it
it's
lasts
a-
until I stop concentrating.
Okay.
You should be fine.
All right.
Alright, so it's Brahm's turn. Alright, Alar and LB, round around, you're up again.
Alright.
It lasts for an hour.
Casting
cool.
Moving Blade.
Okay.
That is a near 10.
That'll hit.
Oh, sweet.
Squishy.
Ooh, that's pretty good. 18 points of piercing damage.
Okay.
And bonus action, disengaging. 10, 20, 25, 30. Is that too far?
Nope, I'm counting something else for my own needs.
Great.
Yeah, that's where the other one's gonna come from.
I'm sure it will be fine.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
fine for him.
Cool. What are you doing, LBD?
I guess I've got one key point
One
left,
left.
so
Last key point.
Come with me.
might as well use it.
Alrighty, 3
It's
attacks.
kinda like the present. Ooh. You
Alright,
didn't see
burn that
one.
dice.
There's some more
But
ones
two
in there.
of them hit.
2 definitely hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
15.
15 damage? Okay. Alrighty. Alright, so that one, shattered leg, receives a bunch of like dog kicks to the back of the head, launches forward, bringing us to Kel.
I will take a couple of steps forward, and I will hold an action.
Okay.
If this one starts to move again, I'm gonna firebolt it.
Okay. Alright, so Kel basically stands, eyes locked on the unmoving form of the first zombie that keeps getting up, and there's just like this jolt of flaming energy just like dances between his fingers as he's like waiting to see like there's even a twitch out of that thing. The fire's coming down.
I have a very twitchy trigger finger.
Just gonna go off for no reason. There's a breeze.
Okay, so that is your turn.
Better no one taps me on the shoulder.
There was a spider. It's gone now.
As you continue to watch, it does seem and like
Oh my god, bears!
enough within like 3 or 4 seconds each time you guys have like taken this thing down, it has gotten up, and like those couple of tense seconds have passed as like the battle continues to kind of rage off to the side, and you just watch, and it doesn't seem to be getting up again. It seems like you guys have put it down for good this time, but you still kind of like you're just waiting just in case. All right, Walter, you're up.
I'll put a hole right here.
All right. So Walter points his shovel out of the trees, and of its own accord, there's sort of like a molding of the earth, creating a 5-foot deep hole right in the ground.
If you can kick the corpse in that hole for me, that'd be great. he's raging. I
Yeah.
forgot.
No, I mean,
couldn't do that
I heard
for the one
you.
that's trying to kill me.
Yeah, that's all good. That's,
Cool.
that's my action.
Alrighty. For its turn, the remaining standing zombie there, as Walter backed away from it, it's kind of like was following you. And as you start to get like further away from it, and like the distance between you and it and Walter becomes like more equidistant, and as your compatriots start like pummeling into it, it kind of loses its focus for a second, and you see it looks up again. It's like gives a second of like surveying the area and locks its eyes on Walter and his shovel and begins to move in that direction. So it's going to take Booming Blade and 2 attacks of opportunity from Osrius and LBD.
Nice. 8 points thunder damage.
Okay.
Ooh.
There you
Critical.
go.
Hey. So roll your damage and double it.
Okay.
Be a 12.
Yours was 8. A 12 to hit, that hits.
So mine would be 10.
10, okay.
That is 12.
12, okay. I don't even need to roll. It literally cannot roll high enough to make the save for that. You guys, basically, as it just... no regard for its own life or safety, just... begins to lurch in the direction of Walter and his sword. Shovel. Alar's sword, Walter's shovel. And there is the slash mark where Alar's sword had hit him before. Erupts. Both LBD throws a paw into it. Osrius uppercuts it with the axe. And that final swing as it kind of staggers from the impact of the booming blade. LBD further punches into the other leg, sending it kind of off kilter forward. Just lines you up perfectly that you just bring the great axe up and its head just separates from its body cleanly as it drops to the ground.
Give me Paul.
Unmoved.
Give Paul.
It would literally be like you fist pumping Vinny.
Echo,
Yeah.
combat over.
Oh god, this hurts my eyes now. I like the yeah, so I'm gonna go over and just kind of push this one into the hole and just hold earth it.
Alar's gonna go. Wait. As he runs up.
Just re-excavate it.
As Alar's gonna run over and start investigating.
I would like to try to collect a sample of the ash.
Okay.
My
Let's make a nature check.
Okay, my investigation check is a 24 as I'm
Of the corpses?
Yes.
Or, okay.
I don't expect them to be carrying anything on them, but
Nice.
There's 18 for nature.
Alright, so you... What are you putting this ash into? Got anything on you?
I've got archaeologist tools. I assume that includes some amount of
Glass vial of some
yeah.
sort. Easy enough. Easy enough. You scrape off some of this soot and you fill a small potion-sized vial of ash that you're able to tuck away. You find both of these dwarves are long dead.
like I said, I don't expect to find anything on them, but there might be.
What you find nothing on them of any particular interest. You are able to glean through very carefully, kind of like picking them over, the garments that they seem to be wearing, though bearing some signs of having been slightly burned at some point, and very almost like disintegrated with age. You get the impression that this is that these are almost some sort of like burial shroud type garments that they're wearing. you can't really be sure. You're not super familiar with like dwarven customs, and especially ancient dwarven customs. But just they look not particularly functional. But what you can tell of what remains of them, they look like they were kind of ceremonial looking in some way. Similar, you think, to what a body might be like wrapped in if it was going to be put to rest.
Okay. Alar's gonna draw out a sack, and he's gonna throw the head of the decapitated one into the sack.
Not the mushed one.
Are they both like together? Like I know that
pretty
one
close
like
together
together.
now,
Like, yeah. While that's happening, I'm gonna take a little bit of the ash of myself and like rub it in between my hands and kind of do like on the chest there, just
Okay.
like kind of leave the imprint and just be like
Ashy handprints on your chest plate.
Yeah.
These dwarves, I'm pretty sure, were dead before they were reanimated. They were likely buried, and something or someone used necromancy to reanimate them. They also seem to be drawn by to anything, magical objects, possibly people.
Is that why they wanted your shovel?
And I've had this shovel for all my working life. As far as I'm aware, it's just a shovel.
How are you connected with these dead though?
I have no idea. I mean, my whole job was burying the dead back home. So maybe
You've seen anything like this before?
usually when I bury them, they don't come back.
I mean, I've heard of undead. I've never seen an undead creature before, but I've never heard of them focusing on anything magical. Although
I've never seen.
they did
anything
come after
like
you
this.
as well, and you've got arcane talent. That one came out-
I mean, one just snuck up on me. For the most part, they ignored me.
It did come after me after I cast a spell using with my sword. So they're focusing on magical things. Maybe the kid had a magic item on her. Maybe she has some burgeoning magical talent.
Brom, you ever seen anything like this before?
Not undead that were attracted to magic, no.
You seen undead?
A few times.
Which
They
way's
didn't
the
smell any better than these guys.
I doubt it.
From where you guys are,
That way.
we'll just call it this way.
You're north. Okay.
All right.
Are you guys done with the bodies?
I'm keeping the head.
That's fine.
I think so.
It's a convenient excuse if we get caught by the Midlandian guard.
Well, I'm going to bury them facing north.
Probably want to be careful showing that to our friend at the temple.
I do as well, but I might want to question him later.
Yep. So I'm going to bury these guys facing north, separate by one plot.
I'll throw the bodies in.
And just rebury them.
I don't suppose anybody
a little
has the
marker.
ability to do any healing. I'm a little tore up.
Fortunately, that is
Nope.
not quite in my talents.
I didn't think so.
I have an emergency use only option. I don't know if this is an emergency.
I don't know. You took a couple of hits yourself, so if you're gonna use it,
Healing.
use it on yourself first. I'll get by. Ow.
I pet the dog.
You might hurt me. If you have
Can
me.
you tell where they came from?
I'm soft about it.
Just
And
here.
the rabbits
If you want to like investigate the area, you
Were
certainly
they
can.
doing anything when you snuck up on them?
Oh yeah, Halo's gonna head to where that thing was pawing.
Make an investigation.
The rabbits do it.
That is a 15.
Okay. You find in the illumination still of Osrius's axe, you're able to kind of get a better look at the ground here. You see the area where this thing was scrabbling at the ground. In addition to the small divot that it had been kind of working into the earth here, and like the just fingery scratch marks sort of in this general area, you notice as you see the kind of the light shining here, there is a rather large patch in the dirt ground here, stained quite dark, as if an amount of blood came out of something which you are fairly certain did not leave whatever it came out of with enough left to still be alive.
I think there's been another killing. Osrius, bring your axe over here a little closer. I need better light.
Shove it into the ground.
Thank you.
Spikes into the ground. You are able to make out, as you're kind of looking around here, definitely looks like something was killed here. And you see, in addition to the finger like drag marks where this thing was scrabbling in the ground, you see slightly, maybe 3 or 4 feet off to the side, you see a pair of 3 long, running parallel to each other, maybe 1.5 feet long, each, a finger's width wide, 3 divots in the ground. And you also find a single, as you hold it up into the light, maybe yay long, but 1 foot long, mostly orange with a little bit of kind of tannish brown fading towards the tips of the feather, with some sort of black speckling into it.
Arcana. Natural 20. So that's a 24.
Nothing about this strikes you as magical. There are certainly some spells that require you would use a feather as a component, but
just looking at the seeing if that was something that would be drawn.
Yeah, you don't get a sort of a magical vibe off of this.
Okay. Anybody skilled with nature? I'm not that great at it, but identify this feather.
I can give it a try.
I would say Osrius would be the only one who has the knowledge that might be able to
go to it, big man.
That's a 3.
You can't even tell if that's a feather.
It's a kind of orange feather.
It's orange and looks like from an animal.
Not even a bird.
Taylor's just been animal times.
Which way do the tracks go?
Thanks.
The tracks of these creatures?
The claw marks or whatever they were.
The claw marks is just a single set of claw marks. Go ahead and make an investigation. Or did you already make an investigation check? And I missed it. Go ahead and make an investigation check.
Nope. 8.
Okay, you kind of look around. It's a little hard to tell now that you guys have sort of tramped all over the area here. So you can't really make out with the the dense kind of leaf cover that's under most of the trees in the area here. You can't really make out a distinct path into or out of here besides your own kind of rumpusing through this area.
Alar's gonna head back over to where the second one came out and attack Cal and see if he can retrace that one's steps.
Okay.
His investigation roll is a 19.
So you head back in there, and you're not able to discern necessarily a path where the thing might have come to or from, but what you do find is a mostly tattered traveler's pack in that area.
Hell. I found a pack. He's gonna rifle through it.
It contains... no, you're not going to be able to roll. It contains about 2 days worth of trail rations. It contains the basic things you would find in a pack. Like a bedroll, some camp materials, a few various tools. There is a set of loops on the underside where it looks like something, maybe like a, possibly a weapon, possibly like an axe, something with like a long handle would be affixed. That is currently missing. And there is a small coin purse containing 15 silver.
Walter, do you think if you did whatever you did to bury those guys over here, could we dig up whatever they were trying to dig up without damaging anything? Or
Sure.
is that gonna...
Worst case scenario,
I mean,
if magic
it's-
doesn't work, he has a shovel.
I mean, it's gonna displace whatever's in there, but I can, focus on it and see what I can dig.
I mean, we can do the shovel, but that's gonna take a while.
I'm just gonna point at it and just floop over the dirt.
Okay.
Wherever the blood was.
So you like
Just take that
mold out a
whole
bunch of-
5-foot chunk and just
Yeah.
kind of like.
shovel it out, kind of spread it evenly across like a 15-foot sort of radius. Nothing of any interest comes up, just dirt.
I guess like that was topical blood. It's not seeping blood, so that's good.
So they're just digging after blood, or were they?
Or there may have been a magical spell cast there. Like they appeared to focus on where there was a magical effect.
Can anyone detect magic?
And it's not a skill. Not a spell I know.
I can.
You want to do it?
Sure. We'll give that a shot.
Alright. So you take a moment to focus your senses, and you open your eyes again, looking for the glow of magical items, or remnants of any magic in the area. You do detect these sort of lingering, as like receding before your very eyes, traces of kind of a magical aura off of the, like sort of rising up almost like vapors from the ground in the two spots that you know you have buried the zombie corpses, of a magic that is, even as it's like fading and dispersing as you watch, you can tell it's like it almost feels like thick, hard to describe, and you don't necessarily have specific training with like schools of magic, but you can take a pretty solid guess that you're looking at necromantic magic fading away off of these two corpses as they are no longer animated.
Okay. What about the giant patch of blood?
The now dispersed giant patch of blood.
Yeah, nothing in the area.
Oh, anything coming off the pack? Does he, hold out the pack?
All back. It similarly has. It's been like rent open. You can see something like slashed it.
Alright. Taylor's gonna cast about looking for tracks of what might left the pack. Guess that's investigation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's a 17.
You search kind of in this area, but similarly to the results of the others who had looked before you. Past the immediate area, there's too much like underbrush and growth to really make any determination, and you guys have like the trampling of combat and fighting and moving around this area and digging holes and everything has destroyed any footprints that may have been there before.
I can't get an idea where this pack came from. I have no idea what direction whoever had this came, where they came from, where they were going.
Well, I think maybe we should move on to the next clearing. See if there's anything else nearby. Or do you want to keep looking in this area?
I'm not sure there's anything else
There's
to
nothing
find.
in this area.
So we came from that way.
No,
BD,
that's
do you
north.
smell
We came from that way.
beyond here? Do you smell anything off like this elsewhere? I know it's probably hard to pick up another scent while you're surrounded by all this, but...
Would I roll investigation?
You don't smell anything.
Okay.
Wherever they came from, you get the impression they were here for a while. They're like the scent trail that wherever they came from has since faded, but this whole area just smells of like... bleh.
Damn. I say we go back to the town, show the, what's that lady's name?
The Inquisitor?
The Inquisitor.
Leanna Highhaven.
The head he's got in a bag and tell it things are more serious and we can help.
I don't know that we want to
Hope that
show
they
them everything we have.
I hope that they
Well,
don't
we're not
do
going to
so.
tell her everything that we have. We're
Maybe
going to
we
keep...
should show the priest and just kind of bypass the guard and see if he'll let us into the tomb.
So your familiar smelled something terrible in their camp.
Yeah.
It seems to me like they probably know about this and are trying to keep it under wraps.
Alright, well then,
Alright, well then fuck them. Let's go to the priest.
the one.
There's the one.
I think we can just say we detect necromantic magic or
956,
whatever.
I'm gonna use it.
Okay. Alright, then yeah, we'll speak to the temple priest. First, we're gonna have to sneak past the guards again, if they haven't already detected that we aren't in town.
While I have this lit up.
Well, that you're gonna have to douse that.
That'll fade by the time you get back to town. Took you over an hour to get out here.
Sneak back to town and
Head for the temple.
yeah.
Alrighty.
All right. Well, as we prepare to head back to town, I think that's a good place to stop for the night.
Mug time.
Mug time. So go ahead. I'm gonna hand out papers here. We'll do our voting for our golden D20. While they are doing that, if you have not done so and you want to, enter Legends in the chat now to put yourself in the running to win.
Also, if I may say, I'm kind of curious what the chat, who the chat would pick for the D20 as well.
And if you
Chat
want
can
to
vote.
if you want to vote, we'll
I
take
would be
a
curious.
we'll take a consensus from chat and
Yeah.
we'll use that to
To our advantage.
to go towards the win. So, Legends in the chat if you want to enter to win the mug. And we're gonna do our voting for golden D20. So if the chat wants to put some options forward for who they think should win the golden D20 for next week, say so now. I will take that into account when we do our thing. So as they are doing that, I want to thank Proficiency Bonus for hosting us. I want to thank our presenting sponsor, Marble Moon Studios and the 8th House, for sponsoring us here for these first 3 weeks, making these sweet mugs, which we now all have custom ones, and we've been giving them away. Reminder again, you can purchase these mugs online if you want at marblemoonstudio.com, and you should do so because they're super awesome, and a portion of the proceeds will be added along with our donation to the Zephyr Foundation at the end of April in support of Autism Awareness Month. In case we forgot to mention it, I think we mentioned it a few times before. If you have a few spare bits you want to toss Proficiency Bonus's way,
Toss those bits.
any bits that this channel is given during the month of April will be converted over to real people money that we will be adding to our donation to the Zephyr Foundation. So I encourage you to do so. If you enjoy our show, please join us again next Tuesday at 7 p.m. If you want to check out the other awesome content that Proficiency Bonus has to offer, they have a stream of some kind every single night of the week at this point. Their programming schedule is available on their Facebook page, their Twitter, they're everywhere you can find them. Check out Proficiency Bonus and give them a follow, give a subscribe here on Twitch, support the channel. we all enjoy playing D&D and doing nerdy type things and having fun, and we want to bring that to as many people as possible. And that only happens with support of the good folks out there like you who help us keep the lights on. Do I have everybody's vote? Alrighty. So I see a lot of votes for LB.
Ooh,
It's because I'm a dog.
curveball.
I also see quite a few votes for Osrius.
Ah, thank you.
Hello from Argentina. Hello there, Panchito1995.
Hello.
Welcome to our stream. I don't know if you've been here.
Panchito.
Panchito. Now that we've called it out, Panchito is going to win the mug, and we're going to have to ship the mug to Argentina, but that's fine. So,
Argentina.
That's cool.
last,
That's cool, though.
I was just going to say, last few seconds, if you want to add the, get into the thing, type legends in the chat. I see, you get 2 votes for Oz. Too bad we couldn't vote for Brahmsrius. So,
That's still going
here at
on.
the table, I have a vote for Osrius. For tossing and smashing some monsters.
Yay.
I have a vote for Nula to choosing to nap in the face of danger.
Well, now I hope she wins it.
I like that
I
one.
hope she wins it now.
Brahm for trying to make the dead laugh. Second one, Osrius for SummerSlam. Brahm, A for effort. You'll get him next time, Tiger.
Can I have that one? It's going on the clipboard.
And one final one for Walter for being a mysterious gravedigger in combat. So I
I guess it's
believe
good.
Combat grave digging is fine.
here at the table we had 2 votes apiece for Osrius and Brahm, and the chat seems to generally be on board for Osrius, which means
Pass this
Osrius
along to you then.
wins the golden D20 for next week's episode.
You forgot to use it.
I did find a situation
Situational.
that would
Alrighty,
useful.
let us. Let
and
me
then
not
the
spell.
invitation,
I'm gonna cherish this moment.
came to an end, and I went.
The only nat 20 I'll ever roll in the next couple of weeks. That's for sure.
Couple of years.
The next couple of years, probably.
Okay, so let's go ahead and give this mug away.
Argentina.
I called it. Panchito 1995
Hey.
wins the mug.
We will have to.
Now we gotta figure out how to ship to Argentina.
We have an international mug situation happening right now. I'm so happy. That's awesome.
We're not actually going to ship it to you. We're just going to go outside and we're going to throw it as hard as we can.
That'll be good.
Awesome. Okay, well, he's in here. He or she, I guess we don't know. Panchito is in here. So congratulations.
Congratulations.
Either proficiency bonus or Tabletop Legends will be in contact with you quickly to get some information so that we can get this sent out to you. Here's somebody hold that near a camera.
Near the camera.
So congratulations.
You win this mug.
I believe that is probably the last mug that we're going to give away. So at this point, if you
Missed
didn't
chance.
win one any of these last 3 weeks,
Gotta buy it.
you
Gotta
gotta
buy one now.
With real money, not with bids.
Real money.
Real money, not bits. Okay, so thank everybody for joining us. We will see you again next week. Slam that like button or whatever Curtis said.
Smash that like button.
Smash that like
Smash
button.
the like button on YouTube.
Smash it like the head of the undead.
Smash it.
Thank you for joining us. We will see you next time. I love you, but not in a weird way. Good night, and go ahead and take us out, Carlos.